Why is it I'm sitting here spamming buying this? Oh, right, because it's giving me inventory space, and inventory space is literally the most precious commodity in an RPG.
Alright, I am back.
So
Welcome.
one thing my character also isn't sure of is whether or not he can work out with his new items or not. That would be interesting.
What do you mean by that?
Will they cause atrophy to his muscles over time?
Oh.
That will then repair, and then he will, become stronger.
I understand what you're saying now. Interesting.
Because they don't cause physical damage, so he could possibly do greater things with the two items.
Right. Now, the box does have 50 pounds worth of weight, so, I mean, as a, you could lift it, I guess.
Yeah,
Well-
right? But I can't use it as a weapon.
It
No.
It would seem to me that doing a particular activity would, be worked out in the model that is the game, right?
Yeah. No,
Like jumping in Morrowind, right? You know what I'm saying?
I was gonna say I had to parse that on a couple of different levels there, but yeah, absolutely.
It's why when you play Morrowind for the first 10 levels, you jump everywhere you go.
Yeah, you bunny hop everywhere, totally.
Yeah, but how much experience?
First 10 levels, you mean the whole game?
A personal rep or something.
Speaking of, as soon as I recognize this, I start bunny hopping.
I mean, in your case, that's funny.
That's why I did it. Yes.
Okay. Since we're all here, let me begin by redescribing Poe Village, right? You come through calling it a forest is a little ridiculous, given that it's mostly all dead, but you come through the trees, to, the sort of like shore of a small stream. To call it a river is a stretch, like it probably doesn't get more than 4 feet deep. Not that you're close enough to really see, but just judging from its width, it just doesn't seem like it would be a particularly strong river. There are a couple of wooden bridges over it, stone bridges over it that you can see. But the town itself is kind of an anomaly. It was clearly at one point a much larger town. There is a like outer ring of warehouses, larger workshops, and what probably were at one point fancy houses, but are now obviously just run down from neglect and abandoned to the the blight that is slowly encroaching on the city here. However, there is a center ring of structures, including a few makeshift fields that were probably at one point other structures that had been torn down so that they could make room for fields. Surrounding a large stone, to your eyes, pseudo-Gothic cathedral. It's really more like a chapel, but it's big, it's stone, it's ostentatious. That is very clearly the center point of this settlement. Along the river is one structure that is not decayed. It appears to be a mill of some kind. However, from where you're at, you don't hear or see any activity, as if it might be still. Speaking of still, there's really nobody in the streets. It's kind of like late afternoon when you guys arrive, but the town isn't deserted. There's lights coming from the church and from some of the houses in the inner ring. There's just nobody on the streets. There also doesn't seem to be any sign of infrastructure of the sort that you might expect, from a typical RPG village. You don't see any shops. There's no obvious blacksmith.
Guys, we need to visit that chapel.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it's the thing that's, boosting the signal, protecting the inner ring there.
Sure, exactly. Well stated. That's exactly why we should visit the chapel.
I got a real question for you. Since we're acknowledging the fact that you have questionable status, Are you sure it's safe to go into that establishment as you are, my friend?
What do you mean, May?
Oh, is he? Are you meaning because he's like a corpse now?
Well, you yourself have claimed to be the living dead. Typically, holy ground is not a friendly place for your kind.
I hadn't even thought about
But
it.
but I want to.
Hey, how do I feel about him?
Do you mean like are you going to use your divine senses to sniff him out, so to speak? Like when you ask how you feel about him, what do you mean by that?
I mean,
Are you talking as a player character, or are you talking about as your actual character?
well, no, as myself, of course, we're all friends.
But
But
it's like, how are you going to respond to his character that he made that's kind of weird and complicated?
no, I mean that. Yeah, I have divine sense, and I would if he's evil, it would stink.
I'm not
Right.
evil.
I will remind you that divine sense has uses. It's not something that you just have on all the time.
I have to throw down with it.
Right. That was why I was asking, are you going to sniff him out, so to speak?
How many times a day can I do it? Let me see.
It's 2 per short rest, I think.
1
That's-
plus my charisma modifier.
Speciest.
1 plus my charisma modifier.
Oh, and it's
Because
long
I'm the
rest, not
living
short.
dead doesn't mean I'm a terrible abomination. I have feelings.
So that's
I did
4. I can
not
do it.
call
I can
you
do
a
it 4
horror,
times.
an abomination. I was
No,
just
it's-
wondering
it's
if you might
2,
have an
dude.
allergic reaction to certain locations.
You know,
Dude,
I'm not
you
sure if
My
it would
second
actually
thing
be.
is a bone-sucking
I
monster.
I don't think it would be specious. I think it's like a meta life status or something. Like,
Heard to me.
but whatever it is, I guess we can go with the abbreviated version of the scientific method. That is, fuck around and find out.
Do it.
Oh, wait. It should be 4. You're right. Your power is not set up properly. That's interesting.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just my charisma
I mean-
says +3, so I was thinking
I
that's
had a
4.
plan. I was gonna go in there with my hooded ass and everything, and start chanting the theme song from that first-person video game that we all love, right?
Uh-huh.
But it's a real chapel. Think of the acoustics in there, man.
You're not wrong, but I also don't want you to.
There,
Sure,
I
I'm
fixed
just-
it, man.
Oh, cool.
But I
Thank you.
also don't want you to go up into a blaze of glory. I kind of need you alive for a little while.
Well, yes. I'm not sniffing you out to be like outcast unclean. I'm wondering if you can step on hallowed ground because now I'm second guessing all of this.
Well, the other thing I'm looking at is there's some Jesus factor, like, you know, to return
okay.
from the dead is a miracle, isn't it? So actually, you should be just fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also,
Also,
if I
Also,
can't-
click on that. I probably am hopping.
It was done by a goddess.
If I can't step on hollow ground, don't worry. Don't worry about it. I have a backpack. I can carry my box. I'll just hop in my, bag like the rabbit there, and I'm not stepping on hollow ground. We're good.
Loopholes like that don't actually work. You do know
What
that,
the fuck you
right?
talking
I mean, you
about?
haven't tried yet.
We haven't tried, right? But
Jory, are you going to actually use one of your divine senses? Sorry, I didn't
Yes.
mean to. Okay.
yeah, I absolutely am because I'm concerned about my friend. If nothing else, I'm concerned about my
Right.
gameplay friend.
On actions, you'll see that you have divine sense there, and it's got those 4 little pips next to it
Action.
on the actions tab of your.
Yeah, I'm looking it
character
up.
sheet.
All the way at the bottom. Found
Character
it.
sheet has an actions tab.
Yep. Just you keep track of it just by filling in those pips. So
I see them.
your character sheet probably doesn't have any actions then.
Yep, I did it. I only have 1 lay on hands too. I see that. Yeah.
You totally have an actions tab, Verde.
No, I was just saying your character sheet has an actions tab.
Oh, it totally does. It was
got
the
it.
bottom.
I just didn't hear you right. Okay, so yeah, so he does not stink. He's not obviously evil.
Yep, I get it. All right. Well, then in that case, I think we might be all right. Yeah, I'll just give him a good sniff. And be like,
However-
thank you.
he does ping your divine senses in a way that would imply to you that he is undead.
Huh. Well, great. Now I tell him, well, I'm not sure.
So the gamble is there that if he goes on sanctified ground, burst into flames or possibly desanctify, and letting the contagion spread. Was I
Hey,
understand
yeah.
sanctification?
Usually there's a warning for these kinds of things, or like a sizzle.
Are you gonna stick your
I mean,
hand over the threshold? Like,
you could always go with his bag condom idea. I mean,
And I mean,
I don't
like,
know.
there's the bag condom idea, and likewise, some cultures revere the dead.
That kind of culture? This looks maybe not like that kind of culture.
All right. Somebody, I don't know how I'm going to target because we only have the party one, but
Heck.
add 1d4. You should probably make a religion check.
I was just about to ask, can I make a religion check and see about what this place looks like to me?
yeah, give it a shot.
I know.
And don't forget to roll an additional d4 that you'll add to your result.
I know I have the ancient sage ability. Could I help him out and give him advantage?
Like an assist?
If I don't know directly where to get the knowledge, I know where
sorry.
to research and how to get the knowledge.
Honk.
Sorry, if I don't know how to recall the knowledge, is what I meant.
Right. Well, it turns out he's not going to need it, so don't worry about it. But yeah, I think that would have worked for what it's worth.
Yeah, that's 20.
All right.
Yeah. So, okay. So here's how this actually works for you, because you don't know anything about this world.
Right.
And in fact, your character isn't really from this world either, so it can't even really be argued that your character would know anything about this world. However, you stop to consider the religious implications. You know, you consider the zombie on sacred ground dilemma. And as you're thinking about it, a small blue box appears in your line of sight, hovering about, 3 feet from you.
Did you just call me a zombie?
Nobody else can see it but you, for what it's worth. And on the blue square, it says the Church of Absolution has no what's the word I'm looking for? Has no prescription against the reanimation of the dead.
I will read it out loud in a sort of bewildered tone.
How did he get that again?
I pondered.
Right, he made a religion check.
Well, that's
Okay.
good to know.
How do you steer that, Eileen?
I guess me walking in with my with my whole holy ambiance would be great. Come on, somebody back me up. Who else here plays that game? Come on. We all know it.
Dude,
Yeah,
I
this
play
outside
too
before we
many
do it.
games. Unless you be more specific.
He means Halo.
But we can't actually say that word without it getting bleeped out or something. If this is typical anime.
That's funny.
Oh, so you're talking about Balo. Okay.
Yeah, Balo, the Ring series, you know?
Yeah. The
Ring
bells on
cycle
that game
games.
are
Yeah,
awesome.
totally.
Okay, I'm looking at my sheet. Dude, my performance is I'm not going to do it. I'm going to fail. I got I got
we
0%.
get advantage if we do it together. And also think of the times that like any high school group got into a bathroom and did it, and like similar times to that, man. You don't have to be good. It's the Ring series opening song. It's like a bunch of octaves and done in a harmony, and it's
I was going to say, if the acoustics of the room are right, half the work is done.
right, exactly. I'm gonna roll.
I'm not sure they would like that though.
I'm gonna roll a persuasion check.
Watch.
No persuasion.
A small blue screen appears in front of your eyes. And on the screen, it says, the Church of Absolution does not feature music in its services.
Okay, we're not doing it. They don't feature music. The acoustics are going to be horrible. Bad idea.
Very nice.
It pains me though.
Well, it doesn't mean the acoustics are going to be horrible. It just doesn't mean they
Means the
necessarily
focus.
utilize it
If
for
you
that.
do not stonemason it correctly, it will be hot garbage.
Right,
Trust
super
me on that one.
reverby. That's
Yeah,
actually a
you're-
fair
yeah,
comp.
You're saying it has to be deliberate or it's going to be bad.
Yes. Unfortunately, I've been to too many cathedrals. There is such a thing as bad acoustics from they didn't know what they were doing. It's anyways, back to those local sports teams. So, are we wanting to go to the place that's obviously sanctified and not pox-ridden?
Yeah, and probably kill the goblins inside that have the everyone all tied up.
Right?
As the cute girl over the spit roast we have to save and then stands for all of us.
Yeah, man, depending on which anime this is, this could be spicy.
Nice.
Is this
I
one
am
that
a rabbit
happens-
after
does this
all.
air
I
at,
may
like,
be equipped for this.
noon, or is this something that happens at like 9 p.m.?
It's right now. It's like 6:30, 7 o'clock. Sun's going down.
No, sir, you said anime. I'm like, is this an anime that's airing at noon?
Nighttime. Yeah, look,
9
I was
p.m..
referring to an anime that would be playing at a nighttime slot.
You
Adult
have
Swim.
to click-
Oh.
You do have to click through an 18 or up warning to get to this channel on Twitch. So that implies this is a Funimation
Oh,
All right,
no,
I have
Funimation
a-
would be a noon one.
at best.
Yeah, Crunchyroll.
There's some other ones that I'm not actually
Oh, yeah.
sure who does the Dojin stuff anymore. Anyways,
Netflix original series.
All right, I got it. Oh no,
HBO.
no, it's
Sorry.
no. I change of plans. Then I have a new idea for an entrance. It's good. Let's go to the church.
Do I actually perceive life outside of the church, or any movement and stuff and things?
Okay. Like I said, there's really nobody around, obviously. However, as far as your goblin theory goes, they would have to be very neat goblins because there's really no sign of disarray in that inner circle of buildings either.
Obviously.
Does it look
However-
like there's like barricades and such?
No. In fact, honestly, it just looks like there's evidence that there was a wall around this town at one point. It was either disassembled or has since crumbled away. But that had to have happened a while ago. There's no way that was recent. And there's no makeshift barricades or anything like that. However, you do see as you're looking, there are a couple of these buildings that have like lamp light already in their windows, and you can see silhouettes occasionally of human shaped people. So there's people here. They're just not outside for whatever reason.
So I the brown houses in the middle circle have the people. The ones
Correct.
with the teal houses are empty AF.
Correct.
I don't know how to. Oh, never mind. Wait. Yep. There
Also,
we go.
that token is super small, Snipey.
It's actually to scale. That's the problem.
How do I erase?
Why is this?
Oh,
this
right click
village
on it.
so spread out? Like it was everyone having like their own private garden in the middle of town?
Ooh, bougie.
I would not call those private gardens. It's
found it.
actually more likely from what you're looking at that they are communal gardens, and they're very clearly set up away from the blight encroaching from the northwest. Your guess is those are literally the only fields feeding whoever lives in this place.
No, I'm
Right,
talking about like
so-
how the city's spread out. Like from what I'm seeing, like most of the villages. Okay, that would be one of. It's that one. Ho ho! Going in my history of villages roll. Thank
Very
you.
nice.
Um,
Actually, you get a screen and the screen tells you that the village of Poe was once a very successful lumber. What's the word I'm looking for? Lumber port.
Enterprise or
And in fact, that prior to the opening of the Devil's Maw, the city of Poe was the premier supplier of both keel wood and bow wood to the Empire of Galander.
So I was going to ask.
Oh,
I was going
lore
to ask what the.
I read that aloud to people.
Nice.
All good and well.
I was going to ask what the state of these little fields here.
They're tended. I mean, they're what they're growing
Or-
is scraggly, probably like potatoes and rhubarb.
Right, but they're productive. They're not fallow.
Correct.
What would
They're
be-
tended and growing. There's 3 big fields of wheat, and then those 2 other gardens, which, like I said, they look like there's some sort of like tuber or rooted plant from what you can tell.
Does my nose twitch? Like, am I into carrots?
Not that you could tell.
What's the state of the well and like the town square place right in front?
So the well that you guys walked past on your way in was very clearly neglected and dead. The only well that you can see in this area would be the one that's on the southeastern side of the church, which you can't actually see from where you're at. So
I want to go up to there. That seems like the town square.
But yeah, so it's still, even with this being a logging community, houses are so spread out. Like, and also there's like no.
and
like,
actually with
lumber mills.
your 17 perception, there's a few things that you would have realized. A lot of buildings are gone.
Okay.
Like demolished down to the ground. You don't know why or how. There's really no way to tell, but you can sort of like see the outlines of their old. I won't call them foundations because there aren't any left, but you can see the outlines of their bones, so to speak. Most of the outer ring
Ruins.
that's left are the larger buildings, which were probably workshops, warehouses, and other industrial buildings.
Okay.
With the exception of a few manor houses along the far outer ring.
That makes me feel better because this is, well, the layout just bothers me on a level that's hard to achieve. Also, now that we're on the other side,
there is legitimately, from your experiences of Earth and history, there is definitely something weird about the way that this place is laid out. Like,
It's definitely
a medieval town typically would grow like organically around its industry, or its central
around a
feature.
chapel.
And there is a chapel. However, you can also tell that this entire city did not grow organically around it. It's
No.
like somebody stamped it. Like somebody
it's
was
built
like,
this way.
we need a city that does X, and it's going to look like this.
Exactly, it's built this way.
Also,
Yeah.
since we're now on the far side of the village city thing, is the water wheel actually in that good a shape?
It is, actually. In fact, the building is basically perfectly preserved. It's just not running.
Weren't we also on a hill when we first noticed the city?
Yeah,
Yes.
the trees are basically on a hill above, like the sort of like shelf of the river.
Okay, yeah. So I'm taking it as canon that we all mentioned that it looked like freaking the town in Diablo.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say you guys had that conversation last week. Absolutely.
Yeah, we totally joked about that last time, and also May was starting to wonder if there was going to be a vendor that was one-legged and everything.
Yeah. So I'm saying second-rate goddess also sent us to a second-rate, sort of timeline where
It's
everything
prop
was
gen.
built in the design of video games.
Yeah, it was a prop gen town.
We've gone down in the dimensional scale. I wouldn't be surprised if
One
if
could
we're
argue Diablo
two-dimensional
was
or
first
2.5
was first
dimensional.
gen. Not like But
You
I'm
know,
anyways,
not, I'm not saying that. I'm saying the complexity of our universe is probably smaller.
looking
you
at the
obviously never delved into Diablo lore, but that's a whole nother topic.
looking at the construction of the town, I get a bit of a different feeling that they started with just the chapel and the wall around it. Then people purchased or were otherwise given lots that they built their homes on and were free to build more on, thinking this place was going to expand to be a big booming
And
wood
then a
town.
tragedy happened.
And then a tragedy happened, and then people cleared the hell out. The ones who couldn't afford to clear the hell out had some other connection to the area, stayed around, and I don't know.
Clearly, Nero was the lorehound of our group.
Getting back to my perception, how is the state of this well?
This well is actually in great shape. I don't think any of you would recognize. Well, actually, I take that back. Verde, roll insight for me as well, really quick. Yeah. Okay. You recognize that on the sort of like there's around the lip of the well. Basically like the part you would lean on as you reached in to get the bucket out. There's like a relief, and at first it just sort of like looks like a geometric pattern. But because you're like, kind of interested in the state of the well and you're looking closely, you realize, even though you don't know the language, that those patterns are in fact actually glyphs, and that there's probably some kind of spell worked into the stonework.
Oh, you mean like those symbols from Control?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
And
neat.
wouldn't I technically also recognize that with religious background? With holy scribing on pillars and such?
Yeah, well, yeah, I was going to say if you could make the check, yeah. But you yourself wouldn't necessarily know.
Fair enough. While we were walking through towards the well, was there just movement, no one coming out at all?
Yeah, and actually nobody, like you see a couple of people like walk up to their windows as you sort of walk down the street. So you get a good glimpse of a couple of dirty sort of like gaunt-faced, Monty Python peasants. But they also sort of like look at you with almost disinterest. Like no one's scared that you're walking down the street. No one seems angry that you're walking down the street. And in fact, it's almost like if there's any emotion at all, it's resignation. Like these people seem
dead,
defeated,
tired. Yeah.
What poor folk. Not to assume the state of their wealth, just.
It's a poor state of affairs. It's health and what have you. Like, if you don't have a healthy body, you have nothing. Like we've had this talk about it. It's one of the reasons why you've been trying to get me to exercise more.
Yeah, the city might be kind of po, but
it's just a po little village.
I don't know.
Yeah,
There's probably things we can do to help them out.
It's a Po village.
All right, you guys are going to head inside the cathedral then?
Rocky Balboa.
While walking around, were there any signs of like a shop of any sort, or?
No, literally zero infrastructure.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, there's no commerce going on here. Like, unless it's purely barter, maybe, question mark, but even then you don't know what it was they'd be bartering for.
Candies.
Skills, sir, skills. You gotta have skills to pay the bills. I'll let your imagination run the course.
Oh no. I could have sworn I imported these maps. Where the hell did they go?
We're at the door.
Yeah, give me a second while I do something in real time here.
Doing it live!
I take it things didn't get loaded the wiggly wobbly like they needed to be.
Yeah, apparently I didn't hit the right button. It's cool though.
It's cool though.
It's cool though.
It's Cool Whip.
It's cool though.
Cool though.
Now let me just make you guys little token dually bombers, and then I'll share this map with you.
I
Little
love to.
token dealy
Those are the
bob.
best kind of dooley bobbers.
All right, you put them right on your head, and they're just like, oy, 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 oy. You love the picture of your guy on them.
And then how do I share that?
There's something. Oh, that's something more.
Okay.
Bam. How about cash me in the cathedral?
Okay. So you open the cathedral doors, and they make a big, long, hollow squeal in the way that you might expect, the doors to the cathedral in Tristram to sound.
Do I have to roll a perception roll to see if it sounds exactly like the same sound effect from like freaking Fable or Black and White?
Yeah, you can roll a perception check.
The stock sound effect for door? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the big door stock sound effect. It's not even just all of Peter Molyneux's games that use it, but yes.
No, it comes from some library somewhere. Totally.
The saddest thing is that I know I have one of those in here somewhere. If only I could just like leap right to it.
Yep. Verde, it does not seem to be the same sample, or if it is, it doesn't have a fingerprint that you recognize.
Okay,
You're pretty certain it's just the sound of this door.
I'm at least I'll get off this goddess's back a little bit. As long as the sound different, I'm okay.
Yep, but while you're sort of investigating the room, there are a few odd things straight off the bat here. One, there's a very conspicuous skull about 10 feet from you to the south.
I knew I had one.
A creaky door.
Yes.
Nice. There's a few like sputtering torches and candles keeping the place lit, but it's not particularly clean. It's grungy.
Can I collect the skull?
There doesn't seem to be anybody hanging out to stop you.
Yeah, let's leave the place intact for now. We don't know what everything does yet. Let's just look around a little first.
Okay. But
you can grab relics later.
I feel the need to collect skulls.
I know how much you love your relics.
Do you worship a skull god this time or something?
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? That's always a not answered.
We've always talked about this. I'm agnostic.
Just because you're agnostic doesn't necessarily mean you don't pay tribute to powers that can give you shinies.
That's true.
Well,
like I could totally see you like, oh hey, so if I give you this, you'll give me that? Okay. Let's wheel and deal.
You guys philosophize. I think I'm gonna step on in here. You don't.
Okay. Let's do this one at a time. We'll do Phelan and Watts first, and then before you move on, YOLO, there's actually something there worth looking at. So hold on one sec. Okay, Neuro and Watts. I don't have a token for the peasant, so pardon me. I didn't putting 2 P tokens didn't seem right. Because then there would just be a PP over there, and that's just weird.
You could have made it a B.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, hold on. Good call.
A big P? BP?
P and B.
A peasant.
Peanut butter.
Peasant? Big peasant?
Right.
Peasant
right.
is a priest. And the peasant would be the B, because it's technically the little P.
Little P. I mean, it's a good size.
It gets the job done. I mean, there's 6 kids. Like, obviously they do. Hey, we're
Something's
doing
working.
something right.
Do I not have a B token? That would be dumb.
How can you not have it? That doesn't surprise me.
I don't have a BT.
Oh, you know what? I have a separate set of letters. Okay, so we can go for the full PP. We're fine.
Okay.
Full PP! Yeah!
And vinegar.
Okay, so there is a human male. He stands about, if you had to guess, 6'2", 6'3", tallish. He is dressed in very shiny chainmail, head to feet, over which he wears like a tabard of blue with a golden emblem on the front of it. It looks, I mean, honestly, it's basically a Christian cross. It looks like there's like a circle-y bit partway right above the intersection of the two lines, but it looks like a cross. Next to him is another one of our grubby, dirty, gaunt-faced, working in the filth peasants, and he is cradling an obviously broken arm. The priest has placed his hand on the arm, and he begins to say, "Divine Mother who salves the fallen, throw open your arms and embrace this wretched soul. Cure light wounds!" And his hand glows green for a moment, and you can visibly see the obviously bent the wrong way arm straighten itself back up and heal. And the peasant sort of like weeps a little bit and nods his head, and he says, "Oh, thank you, absolver, thank you." And the priest, the absolver, apparently, he just nods and he says, Of course. Go on about your day." And the peasant heads out the south exit and disappears.
5 men in.
Hey, before we step in, should we ask if it's okay that we're tracking in a bunch of that sports stuff from outside? Totally are. It's kind of rude.
I'm washed.
I had
You're
I've
not,
been washing myself in seawater.
you're not
Right.
completely watching, sure.
The absolver looks up as you say that, and he says, "Oh, visitors. The blight's ever present. There's not much you could have done to avoid tracking it inside. It's fine. Don't let it get into your wounds, but it generally leaves people alone. Large concentrations can be dangerous, but you don't seem to be dripping in it. Come in," and he motions you forward.
All right. Yeah.
Thank you for the warm welcome.
We appreciate it. It seems like this is the safest place around here.
Okay. And while you guys are walking in, YOLO, there's a statue between two bracketed lights, one of which is a candle, which you would guess has some sort of ritualistic purpose in that it is an unusually canary shade of yellow, which is to say it is not a natural candle color, and has a sort of like inlay of a separate wax, again in that sort of like knobbly cross shape, done in blue this time against the yellow wax. It's about half melted down, so you're sort of like, projecting what it probably looked like when it was whole. The other torch is the other sconce that holds a torch is perfectly mundane. There's a large grate in the floor here. Looking through it, you can see, what looks like another room. Maybe it's hard to tell exactly. It's dark down there, but it's deep space. Big enough that there could be a basement. But the interesting thing here is the statue. There is a statue here of I guess you could call it a saintly figure. They're dressed for battle, however, leaning on a very large sword. Kind of in the classic like knight statue stance.
Yeah.
Is it the guy in the corner over here, or is it behind the P?
No, it's where YOLO is, because I'm talking about what he sees.
Oh, gotcha.
So, the figure is dressed in chainmail, wearing a tabard. The tabard is also engraved with that same cross. As you look at the sword, you realize that more of those glyphs that you saw on the well are etched into the sword. However, you would guess, based on the sort of like sloppy nature of the work, that it's decorative, like more indicative of something than the actual thing, emblematic rather than actual.
Yeah.
Like this is probably an effigy of a hero, would be your guess.
Anything?
Yeah. Okay. Screen pops up, and it says that this is a statue of Absolver Adolphus, the first of the absolvers of the Church of Absolution, who successfully led the campaign to drive the demons away after the first onslaught. It also has a footnote that says he is considered the patron saint of lost causes.
Give me a second. Adolphus?
Yeah.
One more time. How would you spell that?
Adolf us.
It's here. You know what? I'll put it in the chat.
No, I got that. I just wanted to know if there was any like hidden fucking.
It's not spelled that way, so please let me put it in the chat.
It's not little mustache.
No.
Adolf us, right?
Well, kind of like Alfarius. No, I like it. All right.
Yeah, it's not Adolf us. It's not an epitaph. Epitaph. I mean.
I love how it's not in the like. I have to like manually put it in the live chat so that people know.
Lost causes, second chances. I look back down in the.
We Adolf. Wait, that's not right.
At the grate, is there like a ladder or something into the other room? You said that might be down there.
No, in fact, you can't actually see the other room for sure. What you see is like the light from the torches illuminating a stone floor, probably 10 or 11 feet below you.
Can I take one of the torches out of the sconce and drop it down there?
Yeah.
Doing it. I want to see what's down there.
Okay, one sec.
I'll take the weak looking guy that you said was there, the one that was like mostly burnt.
Yeah. Hold on.
So it's mitigation of my dickishness dropping wax, burning wax thing.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, actually, it lands miraculously right side up. Like you take the candle and you drop it, and it doesn't twist or turn or anything. It just sort of like drops straight down and weebles and wobbles, but doesn't fall over. And in its guttering candlelight, you can see. Well, I mean, there's really no way around it. A river of shit. You're clearly looking at a sewer.
Oh, well. Okay. Good to know.
Yep. Oddly enough, it doesn't really smell.
Doesn't smell. Any interesting knowledge I can gain from survival from this sewer grate and this stuff here?
Nothing like artificial pops up. From what you know personally, if that really is a sewer, and it doesn't smell, that either means that sewer has not been active for a while, which doesn't seem likely based on what you're seeing, or that something is somehow treating this water.
Interesting. So the church legit makes the shit not stink.
Correct. Yes.
That's good knowledge. And is this sorry.
No, what was that?
I was gonna say, is this just a cross and like a urn of water or sand or something?
Oh yeah, if you look in the you're talking about on the eastern wall there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like what are those Greek? An amphora. It's kind of like an amphora. But it's filled with water as far as you can tell, like a clear liquid that doesn't have any odor. You haven't drank it or anything, but
I was definitely gonna drink it.
It's water.
Nice, a good hand scoop of water. This is the first fresh water I've seen, actually. So
glad it wasn't piss.
I don't.
It is piss.
I don't even need to drink or eat. This is actually just habit. And I realize this while I'm doing this, and I have an existential moment. Maybe not too significant.
Yeah, still, you have yourself a moment. Questioning who you are. Okay, Jory Watson, and Phaleon. The Absolver motions you forward, and he says, "It's not often that people come all the way out to Poe. What can we do for you? Were you sent, perhaps? Do you have a message for me?"
Do I hear them say this?
Yeah, I mean, from where you are in the doorway, you could probably hear him.
We are the Sky Children, dropped down by the bitch without a name.
I raise my rabbit hand and I say,
the goddess of second chances.
I say, hush, 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 hush. And then I say,
YOLO.
We were in fact sent. We were sent. But I need to know from your mouth, what were we sent to help you with? Tell me so that I know that indeed we were sent for the right reasons.
He looks at you and he says, "Well, admittedly, I would not have expected a messenger from the church to be a beast person. Are you adventurers, perhaps?"
Racist?
Adventurers is perhaps the wrong word, though we will, in fact, be on an adventure if we're not already.
Like I said, we're the Sky Children who were slammed down here by the bitch without a name.
Forgive him.
Would you please?
It's a little touched.
Only because I may have suffered a concussion from that goddess of second chances.
Her name is Damaris,
definitely
actually.
Suffered
She's
a
not nameless.
concussion.
Where'd you get that?
She said it.
She actually did tell you her name.
Don't say. At this point, I just kind of. You guys.
As you're speaking, YOLO, the priest walks up to you, head sort of half cocked. He seems a little concerned. And he says, "Have you been walking in the forest?"
Yeah,
no.
That's how we got here.
Covered in seawater.
No, yeah.
We went by this ocean and we went through the forest. Short answer is we came from the northwest.
At this point, I'm laughing and kind of just shaking my head.
I'm backing up. I'm still looking at him. I'm not actually
He seems very confused.
Please don't look at me too hard. I'm very shy. I have a nervous condition.
He raises his hand and he says, I meant no harm. I thought for a moment perhaps you were delirious. I would have only cast purification magic in the event that the blight had gotten into your blood.
Oh, we don't need to worry about that. At least for me. Maybe about these guys over here, but not for me.
Oh.
I have a fairly strong immune system.
You said you came from the northwest through the forest.
What do
No,
I know?
I said we came from the sky.
What do I know about? What do I know about the Church of Absolution?
Nothing.
What if I roll religion?
Okay. The system informs you that the Church of Absolution is the largest church on the continent. And in fact, after the opening of the Devil's Maw and the first onslaught, it was the members of the Church of Absolution who managed to turn the tide and drive the demons off the continent. And they took a sort of position of prominence in the newly formed Kingdom of Galander as a result, making them not just the most common religion encountered in the region, but also the second of its three great superpowers.
Okay. So reading this, I get a creeping suspicion, and I look over at Watts. Do I have to roll again to access a sub-menu? Is Watts
usually...
a tiefling?
Watts is in fact a tiefling. That is correct.
I fortunately look like a lizard right now, thank you. All they see is a tail. Shush.
That might be better. I am just like I'm reeling.
I have a hat on.
I'm reeling in horror. Is all I'm saying. I'm going. Oh
no. No.
Wait. So yeah, how many rolls do I have to? I'm thinking to myself, how do I bring up all the sub menus?
I think I would have noticed that when I did my rolls earlier and found out about the church because of the Great Maw and the war.
We were sent here.
One at a time. Watts. Yeah, nothing that you saw earlier and nothing that you just saw Verde suggests that there would be a problem with your tieflingness, as you're not overtly a demon. However,
I'm the prodigy of somebody that from the war type situation. It's like mom had to run in with dad. I don't know who dad is. I'm with mom.
He was an American.
Right.
Wow, dude.
I mean, you met him in the war, right? Like,
right?
Yeah.
Come on.
His name was Joe. No. That said, to answer your question, Jory, the way that you've noticed all of this stuff seems to work is you think about the thing that you want to know about, and if the system believes that you should know it, it tells you.
Okay.
So there isn't like a menu system that you can access as far as you're aware.
Okay. Yeah. So
nobody's brought up the only menu, like the only thing close to a menu you guys have seen is the interface on the item box. That's really all I'm trying to say.
Gotcha. So my religion is +3 in general. So like, okay. Yeah. Well, that's the math I'm doing. That's the weird math in my head I'm doing right now. Is I'm like, parse. Is that not working out? Is it gonna work out? Is this guy parses good? Oh fuck. How do I play my character?
Actually, my character I think does parse relatively positive because of my deity.
Yeah, I was gonna say you don't give off bad vibes, you know.
Right, because the priests give off bad vibes now.
No, but he seems
perplexed.
Yeah, because we're from out of this world.
Straight up flustered. Well, he doesn't think that you're like aliens. I mean, he's not like horrified or dumbfounded, you know.
No, but he's confused that a beast person would be the harbinger of
anything.
Right.
But like more importantly, he actually seems most confused about where you said you came from. And in fact, he kind of looks at all of you and he says, "Did you come by ship?"
No, we were thrown.
Hold on. Let me.
Gesturing.
I'm going to give you full disclosure on this one because you seem to be the authority, and quite honestly, if we try to BS you now, we're just going to run into lies in our own BS later. It's going to be bad. So we'd rather just tell you straight up what happened. Things in a different world that we originated in didn't go so well. In a very almost comically and planned manner, I think we were all killed by trucks in an intersection at about the same time. We had a certain thing, a piece in our hand, which we didn't realize at the time was going to serve as the contract for the form by which we take to be sent here by Damaris, the goddess of second chances, who didn't really seem to like us or anything, just kind of passively, apparently this is her thing, sends people off to their fate. And our fate was to come here to this world, to live here and have a second chance here. And she kind of mentioned very passively, by the way, a Dark Lord is going to be born soon, and you got to prevent that from happening if you want to stick around on this planet for very long. So that's kind of what we're here to do. We were dropped from some sort of godly plane. I'm sure it wasn't physically like falling towards gravity in the normal way that one would expect. It felt like kind of moving through both time and space as we saw events occur, the continent itself fracture into pieces, volcanic activity, the forming of what appeared to be atolls, and finally crash landing in the northwest of here in an area that seemed pretty empty. We were able to detect that the orange stuff, the blight, was harmful, not immediately going to kill us. So we did find a giant mound of this stuff a little ways along our path to here that seemed much more lethal. We didn't touch it. And so we kind of made our way here. And that's basically it.
Huh.
And that's, to give you the full story, this is something that you could, each one of us use some magic to make us tell the truth, and we would all tell you the exact same thing. Because that is what happened. Now,
I might tell you 3 things, though.
Now, you guys, go ahead, say your piece, now that I've, cleared the air on
No.
that one.
No, I'm not even mad. You said everything. You said
Jory,
everything more.
Jory, his reaction is obvious.
Obvious?
Yeah.
When there's a pause in the dialogue, I will say, I'm a healer of some sort. Would you let me, help you?
He
Seem in distress is all.
Right. He takes a deep breath and sort of shakes his head. He says, I don't think you can help me. You have to understand.
You're overwhelmed.
You've just come in and told me that you are heroes of prophecy sent here by my goddess to save the world from the Dark Lord.
Sorry, I called her a bitch.
Yeah.
She called us
I don't think
I laughed.
he meant
I
that.
can't help but laugh.
YOLO.
I would have just laughed.
YOLO.
I meant that. She called us losers outright.
Sorry, I didn't mean to move you, Phaley.
YOLO, I'm a rabbit. Nose twitches.
I know you're hoppy
Ear-
about it
ear
too,
flicks.
sir. Anyways, I'm sorry.
You're a rabbit. I feel like I've been ripped off. All I want is a mulligan so I can put in another character sheet request. I'm not even mad about the world or maybe.
You want a reroll?
Maybe have to like anything.
That's
I just
funny.
want a mulligan.
Okay,
Yeah,
YOLO.
at this
You
point,
do
we
it
all
yourself.
lose our shit
Always
for
throw
a
As you
some
moment.
weird
guys are-
trope characters. Anyways,
As you guys are talking to each other, he sort of slumps against the pillar down to the ground. Kind of puts his hands in his face in his hands for a second, and he says, "You don't understand, but this is. They'll kill you."
Well, we'll kill them.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You're gonna have to
yeah.
help us toughen up here, brother.
Give yourself a slap
I'm
in
way
the
more
face. We're
formidable
gonna do
now
this.
than I was before I got hit by
Actually,
that truck.
who will
Slap
kill us?
yourself in the face. I grab him and I.
YOLO, don't.
It's a nice
The
grab.
guy.
You'll be cool. You'll be
pick
cool.
him back up nicely.
You'll be cool.
Like
Okay,
YOLO.
hold up. What are you doing, Yola?
I'm gonna pick him back up, because he's slumped back down, like a buddy would pick somebody up who's in distress, give him my shoulder, and
Gotcha.
then I'm gonna tell him, to take his hand, right, and to slap himself, right, and we're gonna get through this, right. I'm gonna wait for him to slap himself.
YOLO, no slapping of people.
Totally
He's
buddy
in enough
filming
shock.
this.
We don't need him to go into further
Give him a
shock.
break.
I'm not
Also-
gonna slap him. I told him to slap himself.
Right,
No,
right.
it's-
No, I get it. I even get the trope. Okay, yeah. So you pull him up. You kind of tell him to get a hold of himself. And he does the yosh thing and sort of like pats his cheeks. He says, "I'm sorry. I'm an
You're
absolver.
overwhelmed.
I'm an absolver in the church. I have decades of experience. I've fought demons myself. When I say they're going to kill you, I don't mean the demons or the Dark Lord. Lord knows the goddess has probably provided you with the gifts necessary to do what she sent you to do. I mean," and he sort of gestures out the door behind you. He says, "I mean, the kingdom of Galander no longer believes in prophecy.
So we
You
just
How
gotta-
could
late-
not have come at a worse time."
Well, we're
Genuine
not going to tell
question.
them then. You're going to help us come up with a much better reason of why
As-
we're here and how we got here.
As
See,
he says this,
you're-
the
you're
camera,
gonna
How
really
late
help us
are
out
we?
a lot.
on each of our faces?
Like, genuinely speaking, like, I get the feeling like had we been here sooner, it wouldn't be an issue. Like, how late are we?
The time of heroes is over 200 years gone.
Whoops.
Does that mean it's time for heroes again? I say.
No, that means that we're at best adventurers. We can't be anything else. If we try to become heroes,
Oh, no.
How far has the Dark Lord
Hey,
come?
guys, no, this is perfect. This church, it must be dedicated to Absolver Adolphus, right? Patron of lost causes. If the time of heroes is done, this is the best place for the perfect '80s training montage, dude.
The light is not
You
out.
are gonna help us conquer the demon lord.
You're here. The church is here.
Yeah. When you say conquer the demon lord, he literally laughs. It's not a jovial laugh. It's
No,
not. It's
How far has the Dark Lord come?
how many Dark Lords are there?
As far as I know, there are no Dark Lords here now.
Yeah.
The last having been sealed away by, and he points to Iolo, by Adolphus himself. But and he sighs and he says, "First, you can't tell anyone you came from the northwest. There's nothing north of us but demons."
I didn't say that. We came from the sky.
Yeah,
Right.
but Ijori said you guys came from the northwest.
No, I'll own that one. That was me.
Oh, sorry. All right, yeah.
I will say though, that's partially why I was hoping to check in with you. Now, initially, I wasn't exactly sure, but it kind of seemed like I would be able to communicate with you about this, and if this was something that there was no prophecy you're aware of, know about it, or
There was
Trying
a
to be vague.
right, and he stops and he says, "I'm sorry. I realize that you probably don't. The goddess isn't known for explaining herself.
Having tact, you mean?
I wouldn't have put it that way. I've never met her myself, but the stories are pretty clear that she intends her heroes to find their own way. So I doubt that she told you anything. Am I correct in that?"
That's
Yeah,
Just
she
the
didn't
quest.
tell us much.
basically, we need to keep the Dark Lord from being born, was the best advice she gave. She said we don't have to, but this world won't be around for much longer if we don't.
Right, because the choice to act is yours and yours alone, of course. Okay. Let me explain something then quickly. When I say that you can't be heroes, I don't mean that you can't do what you've been sent here to do. In fact, the world needs heroes now more than it ever has before, if you ask me. I can barely keep this place together. And he sort of gestures, and he says, and as far as achieving our goals, there's just no way. I can't possibly do it. So heroes at my doorstep tells me that the goddess intends for you to help, and I will do what I can. But you'll be seen as a heretic if you go around telling people you fell from the sky. Maybe you'll be lucky and they'll simply think you were mad like I did.
I look over at YOLO and I'm like shrugging, like, see?
Well, exactly, and that's why I'm so glad we came to you, because you're going to help us figure out what is the thing that we're going to tell people that is plausible. Are we perhaps mercenaries that you sent for?
Rare here?
When you said that, and he looks at you, Watts, and he says, when you said that you came from the Northwest, did you mean that that's literally where you landed?
Yes.
Have you seen nothing of this world but the Blighted Forest?
That is
Yeah,
correct.
absolutely nothing.
And the giant, I think, pustule, it's like this big white mound. Looks like something that you could pop and stuff would just kind of ooze out.
His
Look
eyes
at
sort
this
of
with you.
widen for
I
a
did
second
not
when you
know
say
you
that. But he doesn't actually respond. Instead, he says, okay. You were in the kingdom of Galander. Once the seat of the Galander Empire before the Devil's Maw opened. Galander is a military kingdom run by those who believe that the heroes of the world put down their burden too soon and left it up to the foot soldiers to do their job. To call yourself a hero here is dangerous in that it is flaunting in some ways the will of the state. However, Galander is a kingdom that absolutely respects both strength and skill. Your best bet would be to register as adventurers with the guild. Once you are registered adventurers, you'll have the run of the kingdom. There won't be any problems with visiting various towns, so you'll have the ability to move around and the ability to take jobs which may or may not help contribute to your cause. There are several prophecies about heroes returning. I can only imagine that your return correlates to one of them. However, not all of those prophecies end well for the heroes. In fact, none of them do.
That's actually okay for me. The goddess that sent us here, if we actually succeed, if I understand her correctly, we get sent home and are given a second chance there.
I don't know that's what she said.
Snipe, do I remember that correctly?
Yeah, that's not what she said.
Okay. How badly did I misremember?
Pretty badly. Basically what she said was, her second chance is here. And she didn't actually send you to go deal with the Dark Lord. What she said was, this world's going to be destroyed by a Dark Lord if you don't, do something about it. So good luck with your second chance.
Yeah,
My bad.
not.
I thought we got what was the reward if we actually did it, though? I thought there was a reward.
Oh no, there was
chance.
no. Yeah, she never said anything about a reward.
Oh, my bad.
This is it.
I referred to her as a bitch for a reason.
Yeah, and she did
Then-
literally call you losers and then throw you at the planet.
Oh, then why does YOLO? Why do you keep saying that you want to do this thing so you can get a reroll if there's no actual chance at a reroll?
I don't know if there's no chance at a reroll. Doesn't mean
There's no
that-
roll.
No, if there's
no
no
reward, there's
Hey,
no
no,
reroll.
he's not saying reward. He's saying there might be a reroll somewhere else after we deal with this problem.
Anyways, I horribly misremembered that one. I apologize.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm already dead. What worse could happen?
As you say that, the priest, the absolver, looks at you and he says, "I thought so."
What do you mean?
You stopped breathing for a long stretch there.
Oh shit.
I'll look at the priest when he says that and says, "I can sniff out evil. He's not evil. He's not. I already
I'm not
tried.
evil.
I already checked."
The priest nods and he says, "No, I don't detect the presence of evil on any of you. To be fair, in fact,
my character.
I don't even detect any attempt by you to deceive. So I trust you when you tell me your story. I'm just saying, while it's possible for the dead to walk, they don't usually, well, I mean, they're monsters."
Snicker and I go, he always plays niche characters. He always plays niche characters. Sorry.
Okay.
But I need to ask, am I rare? Are people like me weird? Am I going to get called out?
Oh, and he says, no. Beast people are relatively common in the world, just not in Galander.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to do a thing. I need you, after today, I need you to take a deep breath and just brace yourself. I take my hat off. How are tieflings liked here?
Shit.
His eyes go wide and he says, don't do that.
See, I thought so.
Thought so.
Yeah.
My ears twitch. That's why
my hat goes on. Fortunately, there's small horns, and I just have a lizard's tail, so I'll just be a lizard guy of some sort.
So,
giant.
So you mentioned guilds. This town doesn't seem like it's got a lot going on, but is there a formal guild registry somewhere here, or otherwise, where would we have to travel to for that?
Well, I don't know that it's necessarily the best place to go, but the nearest would probably be the guild in Galander City itself. It is the largest guild on the continent. You'll be relatively faceless, assuming you get into the city without problem. It's the second most fortified place in the kingdom, however.
What's the first?
Are you going to literally yell it from the other room?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, you don't hear my friend clearly. What's the most fortified location?
That would be Marsden. And he says it with a sort of palpable distaste.
Is that where the maw is, and that's where they're fighting it back?
In a sense, yes. Marsden is the northernmost fortress in the kingdom of Galander. It's actually the fortress prison of Marsden, where the most violent and dangerous of offenders are sequestered to be used as battle thralls should demons ever attempt another incursion.
Holy.
Oh, that's a place I don't want to go. I just have a feeling that'd be a bad day.
I'm sorry, my line wasn't straight enough for the system.
Did you get stuck in the wall?
I did, in fact, get stuck on the wall. I meant to come back from washing my face in that water basin thing and whistle when I hear that. Damn.
Nice. You wash your face in holy water? All right.
Okay, so...
Yep, he sort of like pushes himself off the pillar and he says, perhaps the best thing for you to do would be to learn. I have problems that I need fixed. I suspect that you are in some way or another extraordinary.
Extraordinary, yes.
How about this? I will teach you what it means to be an adventurer. I will act as your guild, in a sense. I will give you tasks. I will compensate you for them. And in exchange, I will teach you what I know.
I look around and go, I am Dungeon Master, your guide. Right? Am I right?
Jory, you're not wrong, but...
Stay a while and listen. laugh.
remember to think. Sorry, humor is how he copes with things.
Oh yeah, I'm not at all being angry or crazy. Just like I think it's hilarious.
Not to
I fully grok what has happened.
Not to be rude, my friend, but how old are you?
The Absolver?
Yeah.
He looks like he's about 25.
You know what?
But
I want to have
you
a
said
Goodberry. Anyone else
he
want
was
Goodberry?
around fighting demons? Like, is there...
No, he says he has fought demons. He did say that he had decades of experience, but, it's a church, so that probably means he was an altar boy as a kid.
Okay, so he has fought demons, I would imagine, somewhere up near Marsden.
Yeah, are you going to ask him that?
Yeah, I am gonna ask him where did you fight against demons? Was it up near Marsden or wherever the front line is at this point?
The northern coast. Yes, absolutely. Actually, I managed to make a landing on Adolphus Rest myself with a small group. We couldn't keep the island, unfortunately, but we did manage to make landing. I lost 3 of my friends that day.
Terrible.
Oof.
What sort of demons? What sort of demons do you mean? Like, what are we facing?
There are many tribes of demons. All of them originate from what we call the Devil's Maw, the location of the original portal that tore our world asunder. Some fly, some look just like us. Some have abilities to look into your mind. There are many demons, and each carry their own unique curses.
So, remembering something about how I wrote my character, I speak Infernal, but I've never, of course, I don't speak Infernal, but the character I wrote did.
Apparently, I speak Abyssal too. Yeah.
Well, yeah, canonically, I guess, and canonically, this character was raised by a cult, an infernal cult. Is that the same? Well, and also Celestial. He speaks Celestial and Infernal. Is there any crossover?
Are you asking the Absolver?
Shit. Is there a role that I would make? What kind of is it? Insight, like
yeah. So like if you're like searching your inner you, that would probably be insight. You could ask him, though you'd have to figure out how to formulate the question in a way that he would understand.
I want to do this while I'm like, well, wait a minute. How can I ask him?
Okay.
Without revealing myself as a cultist.
Accidentally ask him in like a or something.
What do you know about cults like this one that I may have heard of one time when I was young?
Yeah. So it occurs to you that, professing to be a member of a demon cult may not be a good thing.
No, because I'm past that. In fact, I'm like 12 step past that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, in fact, you never were, right?
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I guess you could ask, just giving personal advice. You could ask a more broad question, like, do demons and the people of the continent ever work together?
Well, right. Well, yeah, and if they do, is that some blasphemous shit? And were these things that I know about, are those demons? Is that the same thing?
Right. That last one's going to be tricky.
Right?
You would need to, I don't know, draw pictures or describe them, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I've heard of Vlatu Verata.
Right.
Does that mean anything? Does that ring a bell?
By the way, Yolo, in front of the altar is a grave marker. There's clearly somebody buried in the floor there.
Shit.
The marker doesn't have a name on it, though.
In short,
Right.
Do these demons speak celestial, a corruption of celestial, or infernal?
He says, I don't know those languages. They speak demon. Some of them speak human. Some of them speak beast person.
Gotcha. I speak both of those things. Why? Maybe I don't. Hold on. Yeah, I do speak common. Okay, I speak common.
Yeah, you speak common. You do not have either demon or beast person in your list of languages, however.
No, I speak celestial, infernal, common, and Sylvan.
Correct. So the priest says, come, let me
Nice.
normally I have room for acolytes, but I'm all alone here now. So let me take you to their cells, and you can stay there for now.
That's crazy cool.
You're gonna put us in a cell?
Oh, what was that?
That's rad.
Verde?
You're gonna put us in a cell?
It's just a name for a room. It's not like it's barred and locked.
Not like a cloister?
Cloister is a cell. Well, it's a collection of cells.
Correct.
You're
Alright,
a collection of
just 4
cells.
minutes until D-Day. I will BRB.
And did he react to when I spoke in other languages that I know?
Just to look at you, kind of bewildered, like he clearly doesn't speak those languages.
You're speaking in tongues, sire.
Does
So it's
the ocean lead to the river outside, or is that from the mountains, or what?
Yeah, the stream does flow north to the ocean. As he walks into a hallway, he sort of walks down the hall and he says, "These last 4 rooms are you."
All right. Thank you.
It's still dark, and
Hell yeah.
thank you for the assistance.
Do you have any, like, plaster or something? Gotta lift weights.
Plaster?
Why do you need plaster, Yellow?
For training. Gotta get swole. Kill the demon lord.
Gotta get swole. I mean, fair enough.
You got a 50-pound block in your backpack. Just lift it a few times.
All right. I'm gonna go pour myself a shot. I'll be right back.
But no, we gotta get swole so that we can look impressive and then train the dirty folk outside.
The guys outside, I don't think are going to be able to help us much.
We still need to figure out what we're gonna say if we're asked where we're from.
Not with that kind of,
I'm sure our did the Absolver actually tell us his name?
Yes, I just forgot it. Because I am the barbarian.
No, I don't think he said.
I thought he did.
I've been taking notes. He said about Adolphus the Absolver, but
That was me.
he didn't. I don't think he said his name.
I thought somebody else said his name when he did the casty magic bullshit. And when I cringed because he literally said the word.
You
I'll have to wait for that snap to come back.
Yep.
All right, I'm back, but I'm back, but
The game master isn't.
no, that's fine. I was making a butt joke. Come on.
Back
Let me
up.
break. Yeah, exactly. I'm saying I'm back, but
I'm just scrolling through a subreddit that most people find disturbing.
wait, which one is that?
Popping.
What? Oh no! Stop! Oh no! Please don't! Oh my god! Fuck! Wow! Oh no! The last one of those I saw just like totally unexpectedly because some fucker just put that in the middle of my feed for no reason, and it was just what am I looking at? What even is it? Ah no! Ah Jesus! I'm gonna go vasovagel right here on camera.
What? What I missed?
Fucking sack of potatoes.
Okay.
At least you'll all see it. Someone will call the ambulance.
I
I
missed
won't
it.
need it. By the time they show up, I'll be fine. I'll be like, God damn it now. Maybe I'll get a lot of clicks. Please like, follow, and subscribe. Also, is everyone back?
We are.
Cool, because it's time for me to do this. Wham! Whammo! They make more than games. Anyway,
It
Hey,
is,
everyone.
in fact, the time when we lift a glass
right.
to very special and important people.
There's a link right there in the chat. You can click on if you're interested in following through. But yeah, this is the time that we honor those that have gone to that chat channel there, or that chat channel, the chat channel in the sky, that particular link in the chat channel, and have become patrons of Snipe Hunter and I over the years as we've made some art and some stuff, and I'm even making some stuff right now. I know I keep saying it, and it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, look, right now we say we love you. Thank you so much, you guys. You should be chuffed.
Cheers.
You are patrons of the arts for real. Like, and you
From
can
the
say you
bottom
are.
of our hearts.
You could be in line at
Thank
the coffee
you.
shop. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you so
And be
much.
chuffed.
Be chuffed.
Cheers.
This one's for you.
Florian, good
Cheers.
luck.
Cheers.
Whew. That's a Nolitz gin, by the way. Nolitz, pretty good. Ooh,
Nice.
such a good gin. Man, it has a nice flavor. It's like finish is nice. It's signature. It's very good. Light flower kind of thing going on. It's not like overwhelmingly orange. A lot of gins are super orange. Trying to get away from the scurvy. This one's more like floral. This one's more like some flower.
Yeah. If you make a proper gin and tonic, you'll also be, protecting yourself against malaria.
Correct. With the quinine. It also glows in the black light.
Indeed.
But like this,
Fluoresces.
yeah, fluoresces, exactly. I'm pretty sure you could dab this Nolets behind your ears if you were a dainty girl, and it would smell very nice.
I bet you're right.
It's
There's
just-
a lot of fragrant gins.
That's what I'm saying. It's super floral too. Like I said, it leans way into the flower.
Also, Mr. Absolver, do you actually have a name? Because I don't want you to be rude and just say, hey, you, or Absolver all the time.
He laughs and he says, "My name is Dallas Refander."
Dallas.
Thank you, Dallas.
All right,
That's-
I'm going to call you Dallas.
It's Dallas.
Just
Dallas.
otherwise, I'm going to call you Texas. I mean, it's going to be one of the two.
That doesn't sound anything like.
My thing's- okay. Jory is a jester type character. He loves to make a joke
Jester.
about everything.
I'm just kind of losing my mind slowly but surely. It's good.
Occasionally, I wonder if he loses his sanity and then finds it later.
I'm looking. Can I check my box and be like, I don't think we have a sand, bro.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, there's no sound on your character sheet. Yeah, Refander kind of nods and he says, I see. I
That's how you
could cast Lester Restoration. It might restore his mind.
I'm not sure it would help. Thank you for the offer. If your abilities work anything like mine, you can only do that so many times a day before you have to take an extended rest. And well, I saw you helped one of the citizens. I'd hate to make it where you couldn't help another.
I did
if they came
offer
in.
to lay on hands. I say, holding up my rabbit hands.
I have to ask my friend, and don't take this the wrong way, but on a scale of say 1 to 20, how powerful do you think you are? How much prowess as a fighter do you have?
He scratches his chin at that. He says, "Well, as a swordsman, I'm probably advanced tier. I don't think that you could call me Saint tier yet.
So you are a knight.
As a member of the faith, however, I am Saint tier and can in fact cast many advanced magics."
I see. Excellent. And just out of curiosity, then, when you're fighting with your sword, you can usually strike twice in but a moment of about 6 seconds with relative ease, right?
Absolutely, that's a fairly easy technique, in fact.
But not quite 3 times. That's more of like the saintly level, correct?
Correct. Absolutely. I see you understand swordsmanship.
Oh yeah, just there are some certain sorts of things, just rules
The
and
way
systems
we've
that
used-
exist in universes that are kind of somewhat universal. So yeah, it makes sense.
Certainly. I mean, there are only so many ways one could move a sword.
Right. I would say that would put him in 5th or 6th tier. In the way we look at things, Phelan?
Definitely minimum 5th, and then I would imagine minimum 11 for is
Priestial.
yeah.
Well, here I am.
Right? That's basically where Jory is right now. What did I put into this character? I have to remember how to use that. I actually kind of like that about this campaign because it's like
over to the
you have your player,
You have
knowledge.
no idea how gamified your world is.
He sort of cocks his head. I don't know that word.
Right.
I know
glad
you
you
He's
don't.
free guy right now.
Well-
He's free guy. You can't
I-
fuck with his free will shit, determinism. Like,
So here's another thing that you probably don't get. But I also want to ask everybody here that we can absolutely, experiment while we're resting. How many experience points is 100 push-ups?
I mean, technically, you have all of the tools necessary to figure that out.
right? Where are we stored?
I mean,
Is it the mind? Is it the mind?
I don't know that you can answer that question from here.
Right? Because you can't get outside of the box.
You're right.
We're in the cartridge. We're stuck in the cartridge.
Yep.
Seriously, I
YOLO,
cackle. I laugh. There better be
Yep.
weed on this planet.
You'll think the session is over, and then you go get a Coke out of the vending machine and realize that you're paying with a Verde coin.
Right? Exactly.
And
Yeah,
I'm not-
Give me inspiration.
I don't
there-
think we're in that version of what you're thinking of, YOLO. Because that
Kind
wasn't
of
the type
intoxicants
of the
exist on
type of
this
thing we were
realm.
going to in the first place.
No. These are our cells. I see our bedrooms, but I have no interest in them until the end of the day. We need work done. There are
In this
princes
town?
out there. We need to fuck them up.
Is there an inn?
But this is going to be our in for now,
Yeah.
Jory.
Yeah, you were getting a drink, so you missed that. But there is no inn here. Instead, the priest offered you the empty cells from the acolytes that would normally be in attendance here. But he's the only priest in residence.
Oh, okay. So they're understaffed, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, actually,
And we're
just
gonna be
judging
problem
from the number of doors, they're down 5 people.
Oh, there's a staffing problem here.
Give me a giant rat the fuck over. Like, what kind of level 1 quests you need, George?
Wow, did you just make a giant rat reference?
Of course it's going to be like a giant rat or something.
I
Like,
flaxed and just kind of,
those sewers didn't
Well-
fucking stink, and either this temple makes shit not stink just by being on hallowed ground, or something's living in the sewers and it's going to be bad news.
Yeah.
All giant rodents are bad, right?
Rafadra laughs at that and he says, "No. The foundations have a purification spell inscribed on them. Any water that passes through the cathedral is purified."
So the shit really doesn't stink here. God
Wow.
Correct. When this city was built, this was originally meant to, and he sort of gestures around and he says, this was originally meant to be not so much a rustic village church as the bastion of the apostles of Adolphus. The blight changed all that.
What is it like?
Consider
How can we do it?
the temple. Everyone, piss in the well. Everyone, come, piss in the well. Pure water will flow from our foundations.
Now that's a question. What does it do with the rest? Like, does it take the urea from the urine and make that available for like leather tanning?
Burns it away.
No, it makes the water pure. That's the. I mean,
Not sure where all the impurities
Sends
go.
it-
You just know the
Sends it to
impurities
the
are gone.
elemental plane of urea.
It's most likely something similar to
What is
my
shitty plane?
purified
Well, pissy
food
plane.
and drink.
I know that plane. It's a
That
pisser.
spell would remove
Right,
any
and
all
actually-
impurities.
Watson metagaming it, you realize that must be what he means by a purified spell. Like they're clearly purifying food and water, but like as an ongoing enchantment, basically.
I would actually love to learn that, because if I could put that on a storage device for my food
everybody
and
just
stuff,
piss in my flask. Everybody pee in the flask.
no, not even. No, I wouldn't have to worry about people randomly poisoning my food
Sure.
and messing with stuff. Like, do you know how hard it is to bake with things when they're not properly maintained? Dear
Because
God,
you have
man.
to activate it in the oven first.
We've seen a writing. It looks like hexagons in different configurations and detailed in different ways. Is that a language or what is that? What do you know about that?
Oh, you mean on the well?
Yeah.
That's another purification spell built with, I think it was dwarven stonecraft. Admittedly, we haven't treated with the dwarves in some time, so I don't actually know if that's truly how it was acquired. But certainly inscription is a dwarven skill, so I would have to imagine that's how it was done.
I feel like I also saw something similar on the sword on the statues there.
Absolutely, Adolphus's blade was rune forged by a dwarf.
Oh, interesting. But of course, the ones in there are benign. The ones on the statue, they're not.
They are not. Yes, they're simply a representation of Adolphus as he was in life.
I see. Well, it's still nice.
Yeah, we'll assume that you mentioned it, Verde.
I totally did, yeah.
Yeah, no, you mentioned it, but I also walked by a statue and would have noticed potentially.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, there's more than one statue of Adolphus around here.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, Absolver,
We're all
do
looking.
some of the higher ranked people have? Is there basically like a throne of destruction or a throne of purification?
Are you asking if the big bad has like a Mount Doom that we're supposed to go find?
No, like
We could solve his
I'm going through my IGITSFW knowledge, sir. One of the worlds I'm aware of from stories is one where humans and other allies of ours training and with holy enough power will actually rank up to the point where they have literally a throne they sit upon that has been blessed by the gods with power to help stave off the demons.
Yeah, a sword throne or a
Right. The absolver nods in a like, I think I get what you're saying kind of way, and he says, well, there are many artifacts from the time of heroes. No thrones, though.
Might have taken other presences. It's like the pinnacle of pinnacle type people would be the only ones that would have it. Like one of these people would walk onto the battlefield, though they may themselves not be heroes, but they could change the tide one way or the other.
I read a book once where the author called these fear tokens. And fear token were of course all the bad ones, but yeah, I read a book about this once. I can pipe up with that.
Well, I suppose. I mean, all of the heroes are known for their exploits. Most of our powers, though, come from the divine bestowed upon us, and I presume heroes like yourselves by the gods or goddesses. And he says, well, there are a few particularly powerful artifacts. Tegra's undying steed, Adolphus's sword. But most were lost in the end of the second onslaught.
Where's the sword?
Ceiling.
Undying steed sounds sketchy to me. I don't know, but sword. Where's the sword?
Right. No, Adolphus's sword is buried with Adolphus on Adolphus's rest.
Is that a place we can get to? Like we can dig him up?
I'm not going anywhere near that, Jory. No. Just
What kind of
no.
sword is it? Just saying, what kind of sword is it?
Just no, Jory.
The priest says the last time I went to Adolphus's rest, 3 members of my party died. I would not recommend a visit. You'll not find the sword. There's no way that you could survive long enough to do so.
Right. Also, I assume I'm lawful good?
I mean,
lawful neutral.
It's probably ambiguous in all of your cases at this point. That said, mechanically, none of you seem to register as evil.
So, Absolver, you said you had some problems.
I've got these problems.
Like in life. Yeah.
You were wanting to teach us how to be professional problem solvers. Us known as adventurers.
Right.
What
Adventurers here, as members of the guild, have basically 3 rules. 1, you do not do a job for which you are not qualified, which is to say, the guild will not offer you a job above your rank. Every adventurer begins at rank F and works up to rank S. As F-ranked adventurers, the types of jobs that you will find are generally things like deliver a letter, escort a caravan, simple tasks for sellswords, effectively. Do enough of them, however, and you will rank up. And as you rank up, the tasks that will be available to you and the commiserate rewards will scale. And I have many, many tasks that need doing. I don't know that any of them are truly F-ranked, but if you are, heroes of prophecy, then I suspect none of them will be outside of your ability.
Oh, shit.
Fantastic. Where do we begin? Polishing the altar.
Well, you came from the northwest. You said something interesting, in fact. You called it a pustule. Could you tell me more?
I didn't actually get up close to it. I was covering myself in seawater because I thought that maybe my undead body would provide.
We all traveled inland and kind of passed
Yeah,
it along our way.
YOLO didn't get close enough to it. I think out of all of us, I was the one that got closest. I originally thought about climbing it. That's why I described it as a postule. Have
We
you ever had a whitehead?
Ew!
We basically tried to
Gross.
detect poison and disease around it, and instead of just the normal ho hum, this is bad from the orange stuff, this was much worse. It gave more of the impression of being rather lethal. So we didn't try to get a sample. We got away from it pretty much promptly after.
Yep.
I see. I have long suspected that the source of the blight was some sort of curse. However, we've lacked the resources to go very far into the forest. As you could tell, as you no doubt saw yourself, the situation is, well, deathly. Nothing moves. All of it has been consumed by the blight, and I'm afraid that the purification magic here won't stand against the blight forever. But unless I can deal with the blight, I actually cannot be freed to pursue my normal duties. I'm honor-bound, obligated to find a solution to this problem. I am hoping that the reason the goddess sent you here first is because you in some way represent the solution to that problem.
But the spear.
Yeah.
I say, hefting my trident.
Actually, that's what I was going to ask. If you've got some sort of silver-tipped spear that doses a whole bunch of holy water into something, then, sure, we can get close enough to chuck that into it. But,
I was
Use my
totally
body as a
talking about a metaphor.
receptacle for crap tons of holy water.
It was a metaphor. I hold up my trident. A metaphor. Tip of the spear, the tip of the spear. Okay.
Well, there are, despite the name of this place and its stated original purpose, there are no relics of the heroic time here. I can produce holy water, and in fact, there are several fonts here that I have filled over time. So providing you with holy water won't be the difficult part. Is your concern that you don't want to get close?
Well, we could get close enough to, throw it at it, uncap it, pour it on it. I'm just not sure how much efficacy it's going to have putting it on the outside compared to finding some way to inject it in.
I see. I thought perhaps that you were concerned that the blight would in some way affect you simply by touching it.
Well,
as far as I know, the blight must penetrate the skin for it to have an effect on people such as us.
I was wondering if it turned out to be a pustule, like what I originally called it. Popping it would release a mass of it, a pure sort, and we could possibly drown in it.
It might be so satisfying too.
Nasty.
Oh man. For what it's worth, if that truly is, as you describe it, a pustule, then the true source of the infection is probably somewhere else, somewhere beneath it, perhaps. You might want to look for caves or pits or other entrances to a subterranean chamber if what you're seeing is what you believe it is.
Are you aware of a cave network to the northwest?
He thinks about it for a moment and he says, well, the area was never known for mining. However, the stone for this chapel is local, so it had to have come from somewhere.
Right. Do you know? Oh, do we know where the quarry was?
He shakes his head and he says, no, I'm afraid I don't really know anything about the construction of this chapel other than, the things that the church is proud of, he says sheepishly.
Do you have,
Things
do you have any sort
Is the local
of
still
historic
here?
maps of the area or anything like that? Encyclopedias, any sort of local history that might, articles that we'd be able to use to help us find our way?
Right, or is there a library here in town or a town hall?
He says, no, there is no library here in town. and he sort of like stops mid-sentence, and you can sort of tell that he's sort of like struggling with a decision. And then finally he nods his head as if deciding something to himself, and he says, "Well, come with me."
Oh shit!
He leads you back out into the cathedral.
I'll follow the priest.
Hell yeah, I'm right on his tail. I'm ready for action. This is what I'm here for.
He walks over to a nondescript wall.
I got hippity hop as one of my actual abilities.
Hippity hoppity, he's coming for your property.
Hey, no, it's a movement ability. Let me see if I can click it.
I can't move.
You were pinned on the wall.
How?
I don't know how that happens. Like, if you try to set a path that crosses a wall, it won't route around it. I don't know why you sometimes get stuck on the wall when that happens, but you do.
Yeah, it doesn't. That didn't actually.
Ground doesn't have no path.
Yeah, that didn't actually give you the information when I put it in the chat either.
No, it does. You click the little red dragon.
Oh, cool.
Hey guys,
there you go.
Give me a minute. Like, literally just a...
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, but there you go. I have that trait.
Yeah, that's a cool mobility. It's interesting that you're not a Harengon, because I didn't know there were other kinds of rabbit folk until you rolled that character.
I didn't realize I could be a rabbit folk. I wasn't. So my initial, have you seen The House on Netflix? I think it's on Netflix.
No, I don't have Netflix.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a thing called The House. It's a series of 3 animations. It starts with pseudo people and then goes into mice and then goes into cats. But in the 3rd story, and it has a bunch of people that you would recognize. Helena Bonham Carter is in it. Some other people, some other folks that you would recognize are right.
But House, you said.
Yeah, it's called The House, and it's pretty cool. It's all right. Totally worth watching and totally worth it. And I think it's on Netflix. But I liked it. If you could watch it just for the technical, just for what they pulled off, because it's a stop motion.
Oh, very cool.
You see what I'm saying? In the same way that Fantastic Mr. Fox was a
yeah. I totally grok. Neat.
Yeah.
I'm in. I'll have to figure out a way to see this.
So so it's called The House. And there's a character on the 3rd act who's basically he shows up at the house. He sets up in a yurt, right? And he's very much a granola, but his whole point is to be no, you got to let go, and you got to be very spiritual, and he's super hippie and all this. But his to not even spoil too much, his point is you got to let go in order for this to work out and all this kind of shit. And so when you were you got to be someone you've never been, I'm well, fuck. I guess maybe a monk. And then I was watching The House, and I was no, maybe a 1970s, early 80s lives in a trailer kung fu guy.
Self-help hippie monk. Yeah.
Right? Exactly. I'm no. And so there's this character, and I kind of just ripped off that character who is a cat. And then when I was making the character, I'm whoa, I could be a rabbit. Oh, I'm going to be a rabbit. So,
totally.
So this is actually a legit question about your self-help hippie monk, background.
Well, but I'm not that. Turns out it doesn't actually compel me, remember?
Homeopathy or crystals.
Right? Probably crystals. And
do you smell like lavender?
Probably patchouli, because personally I do amber in real life, not patchouli, but I had lots of friends that did patchouli, and the only reason I didn't is because I had lots of friends that did, and I feel like it's kind of stinky. But Jory probably has the patchouli going on. Okay. Jory's got the little feather earrings,
Yes, okay.
But again, Jory's not really Jory. Jory's me with my Jory character in hand going...
Right, you're cosplaying Jory Didlington.
Right. How much of this can I flex into? Well, I have to, because it's my powers in this world we live in, and I'm more and more convinced that, here we are.
Jory Didlington is your interface into this world.
Exactly. What? I'm Jory Didlington? I'm Jory Didlington!
Exactly.
Back to action. How's that priest doing?
Yeah, okay. So the priest leads you to a completely nondescript wall. He places his
This is
hand
the biggest sconce ever.
on the wall. Yeah, there's actually a full blown brazier there, and it's filled with coals and some sort of fragrant wood, like a sandalwood sort of smell. But it's basically it's a brazier being used to burn incense. But yeah, so he places his hand on the wall next to the brazier, and he sort of mumbles something quietly to himself. You would probably have to strain to hear it if you wanted to. But he speaks to himself for a moment. His hand glows blue. Watson, he says something about the Divine Mother's keen sight and a sheltering something. Like you only catch like a third of it, but it's pretty clear that he's incanting some sort of spell.
What language?
Common.
Oh, okay.
He was just being very quiet about it.
Got it.
But as he finishes the spell, his hand glows blue, and a section of the wall disappears to reveal a carved stone doorway and another room, which is relatively clean. He steps in and he says, "Watch the stairs." Stuck on the wall again once.
Oh, sweet mother of Murgatroyd. Did that fix it?
Yeah. I swear to God, I would have fucking forced turn order on you guys.
Thank you.
I will succumb.
You've given me a... I have a turn order. I usually move last. Just because the walls hate me.
Yep. Okay, so he leads you into, I mean, it's a secret room, clearly, but it really just seems to sort of be like like maybe an entranceway that somebody's kind of using like a storage room.
That looks like an altar to me.
Yeah, but they're also.
It's actually just a table. However, there are a couple of goblets and some candelabras on the
Is
table.
there a bowl I feel compelled to put a coin in?
No. just a couple of glasses. They don't even look like they're special. Ooh, excuse me. They don't even look like they're special. They're just they're just a couple of glasses that seem to have been left on the table. Next to the table, however, is a bookshelf.
Right.
And the priest gestures to the bookshelf and he says, "Well, this is the closest thing that we have to a library." The bookshelf has 3 books on it. And he gestures to the 3rd book, which has a red leather cover. And he says, "And this one's written in Demon. Nobody even knows how to read it."
Whoa, demon. Hold up.
I picked that shit up.
Can I read? Oh, hold up. YOLO. Can I look that over with you?
Yeah, look over my shoulder. I mean, I think my character knows how to speak a dark language. You know how to speak a dark language. Between the two of us.
It's hilarious that we're all actually friends, like cosplaying actual characters. That's the most genius part about this campaign, I think.
Right. It's a good hook, right?
Right. So, okay. So I'm like, yeah, YOLO. And so I'm going to try to read this. I know Infernal and I know Celestial. Is this either?
Okay. What do you know, YOLO? Abyssal? Got it. Okay.
I also know Sylvan, but I assume this is not that.
You are correct. Can I have both of you make investigation checks, I guess?
Interesting. Investigation.
I'm gonna give one of you the 1d4.
Ooh. Say before I roll.
Yeah, actually, if you guys want to compress it down into a single roll, you could do it with advantage plus the d4.
Yeah, that works. Whoever's got the higher attribute.
I'm literally holding my finger down on it, but I only get a +1 on investigation, I think.
I don't get a plus anything. Go.
Okay, we're rolling this, and then I'm going to roll a d4.
Yeah, hold on. Before you roll it, click the advantage button.
Oh, how do I?
That's
Oh, no,
ADV down at the bottom.
I know. How do I cancel if I've already?
It'll glow.
Oh, I did it. Okay, cool.
Cool.
All right, so I have to go get my advantage. Where's advantage? It's here, and I go
Bottom,
down here and
bottom
there's
left.
ADV.
Yeah, exactly.
Max temp. HD. Hold up. I'm not seeing it. Oh
Under
wait,
skills.
I see it now. Advantage. No, it was the ADV. I couldn't find.
Ah, got it.
I found it though. And the skills, and we're doing investigation. Blank. I already have the advantage, and then I'm going to roll a D4 after this, right?
Correct.
Bam. Bam.
Okay. So
Not awesome,
It
but
is-
so-so.
it is not written in either of the languages that you both understand. However, there are some pretty clear similarities. Like with study, you could probably turn what you know into passable is probably not even the right way to put it, into a layman's understanding of the
Like a
other
pigeon.
language. Yeah, right.
Right? It's
You know,
like,
'cause
oh, that's as a toth, which is
Right, exactly. Wait, that's the same swirly bit that makes the schwa noise, isn't it? You know,
isn't
that
it?
kind of thing.
Right? Yeah, I get it. Well, that's dark.
That said, a 13 on investigation will also make it pretty clear to you that the book in question seems to be some sort of manual of the arcane sort, but not a spell book. It's a theory book, pretty clearly. Like there's no obvious spells in it.
How this place works.
But there's lots of diagrams.
It's a coding manual. Holy shit! It's a Oh shit! You guys. It's a doc. It's a confluence.
I have a question, guys. Since you just looked it over,
It's a system
would you say
stop.
the book was in good shape?
Is it ring bound?
No, it's not ring bound. That's funny though. No,
is it printed with the dot matrix?
It's not printed. It's very clearly written by hand.
God.
The paper,
fucking dev doc.
right? The paper is not paper. It's actually some sort of vellum. It's very high quality. The book is bound between two stone boards and wrapped in a red leather cover.
Stone green. Does it have metal traceries?
No,
What kind
the stone's dark. Actually, it looks like it might even be the exact same stone that the floor is made out of.
But is it in good shape?
Yeah, it's in very good shape.
Okay.
Telling you, it's a
I was
dev
wondering if possibly casting mending on it could return it to a better state that, maybe.
No, all three of the books here are actually in pretty good shape.
It won't make
Okay.
it more legible. You can't read JavaScript if you don't know
That's
Same,
funny.
man.
Yeah, no,
You-
it's definitely not like a coding manual, but it might be what's the word I'm looking for? It might be a digipen paper.
right?
Oh God,
That's what I'm
no,
saying. It's a dev doc.
no. We're okay. Anyways, I kind of want to study that later. Just because
It's a GDC fucking talk. It's a stack.
Right,
GDC
exactly.
stack.
Exactly.
That's what
it looks like a manual of sorts, and well, we're facing something that makes things. So something has something worse.
Jory's hopping up and down.
The other two books are clearly written in the priest called it human, but you recognize it as common. The other two books are written in common. One of them seems to be an atlas.
Shit, we might want that.
Dubious quality.
I don't want that.
In that flipping through it, it seems to have been written as a fiction or maybe a creative history that seems to follow the travels of an adventurer across the continent.
Okay.
It's what's his face from Rift.
Oh, that's funny. Oh my god.
It's his name,
Oh my god.
right?
Oh my god.
Right? What's his
Gulliver.
name?
Wow.
I know. Thank God.
I know the character name too. He ended up being over on the good side, the bad side, but
Totally
was actually
did.
the good side.
wasn't entirely my creation, but wasn't entirely Snipey's creation. It was kind of both of us. We were like, what about this guy? Maybe he was like this. Maybe his name was this. No, maybe his name was this. No, maybe his name was... his name was this.
Damn, yeah, and I can't remember now. That's terrible.
Harlan Quick.
There it is. Yep. Nice.
Summoned from my memory.
But yeah, very much like something like the journals of Harlan Quick, man.
Harlan Quick. Made by Snipe
those
Hunter
were
and
good
I,
reads.
by the way. Made
So
by
what's
I.
the other
Snipe Hunter and me.
the other book?
I have to say me.
The other book seems to be religious in nature. It is a series of rituals, but they're not like magic spells. They're like the morning prayer, the evening prayer, the prayer for a repentant sinner. You know what I mean?
What is it called? Not a hymnal, but yeah, exactly, like just a prayer book.
I guess I'm going to investigate the pseudo atlas.
Creepy. I'm not into it. The atlas is what I'm most into. Yeah, I'm going to look it over. If Watts is looking at it, I'm going to look over his shoulder.
Yeah, I mean, most of the pages are a dense text that describes, like I said, anytime you like skim a paragraph, it's some dude and his party of adventurers. They run some dungeons. They do things for kings. Looks like there's a passage where one of them falls in love with an elf princess.
Oh dear.
However, the definite money shot of the book is a 2-page painted image of the continent.
Would it be perception, perception, insight, or history? Like
post sundering.
Okay, that helps.
Yeah, the book. I mean, to call it recent is weird because there's no like date on it or anything. But you would guess from the quality of the book that it's no more than like 30 years old.
How long ago was the sundering? Like, when did it finish?
If you ask the priest, he'll tell you that the sundering was a little over 470 years ago. Followed by a couple of centuries of what they called the onslaughts, wherein waves of demons would invade from the Devil's Maw.
And were fought off, but now what's the state of the world?
Well, since that time, the last 180, almost 200 years have been relatively peaceful as far as demons go. Like an occasional raid will land on the northern coast, generally near Poe, because they know Marsden is basically unassailable. Right, exactly.
Because the walls were magics?
No, Marsden is it's a massive fortress populated by prisoners whose only purpose is to die in battle.
Right. Because of walls and defenses.
Well, yeah, I don't know that I'd call them walls, but defenses for sure.
For the Emperor! Sorry, it's a tick.
Right. So, the area around Poe before the Blight was where demons were most likely to be seen on the continent. There are tales of seeing them on the islands and stuff to the east. But here, let me share the 2-page spread so you can actually see it.
You have the map.
Woo! It's transferring. I got a red question block. Oh, there we go.
The Atoll Nation. The Windscour. What the fuck, world? What? Big ass world. Where are we now? We're over by Gallender.
Yeah, you see that orange corner over there? Yeah, that's where you guys are.
Yeah.
Between Devil's Maw and Gallender?
Yeah, like I said, you see that little orange peninsula on the northwest there? Of
Gallender, right here? With the trees, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally got you. I got you. We up in these trees. Oh, we're in this little fucking town. We're in this little ruined town right here.
Oh, so this is kind of on the edge of the Blight.
Apparently
correct.
So.
Poe is basically the border of the Blight.
Yeah. I grew up Poe.
More specifically, the stream seems to be basically the border of the Blight, though Now you understand that the purification spells inscribed into the foundation of the chapel also create a bubble of clear space in the center of the city.
Right.
Which is why Poe continues to persist.
Correct.
If they made a sandwich here, it'd be called a Po' Boy.
They can't afford no sandwiches. They're po' boys.
Is there anything that seems to clear and fight through the blight, like holy water or a specifically prepared sort of fire or anything?
Fire. The Rayfander nods at that, and he says fire works best. Purification magic can keep it at bay, but it doesn't seem to actually kill it. It will, however, remove it from a person, as will restoration. Cure light wounds can stop a small case, as can in the case of those of us who carry our faith in our swords. We can also lay on hands and purify someone of the blight.
Hey, I can do that.
So why hasn't the peasantry created a ditch and a fire ensued of the peninsula? Shouldn't we just burn it all down?
The blight comes back. In fact, the outer ring of the city was originally, well, I guess you could say where we first tried that experiment. We lost most of the outer ring of the city in the fires, but it didn't ultimately stop the blight.
Yeah, I see. It's on the air. It's in the air. Is it linked to something? Is there a way that maybe, like, is there something that maybe calls to the blight?
I've long suspected that there is something in the woods that acts as a source of the blight. I don't think the blight is attracted to a specific thing. I think the blight consumes. But I suspect the blight is a form of a curse. I don't think it's a natural thing.
And we walked by a location.
Shit, yeah. I didn't. And there's no blight in town right here, right?
Correct. I mean, you could walk to the outskirts of town and like collect a sample.
Okay,
if you
I
wanted
understand.
to.
No, I would just want to sniff it with my divine sense and be like, is the blight evil? Is the blight evil?
No, the blight's not evil.
No, it's just blight, right?
Okay.
What was that, Watts?
I'm going to investigate the book, hoping the system will key in a little bit. Did the book mention any time about them doing an adventure of any sort here in Poland?
So you're basically going to search the book for references to Poe?
Yes.
Okay. A blue card appears above the book, and it says, search results. No results found.
Okay. Ooh. Here's another one. Any mention of this type of situation in their adventures?
Hold that thought for just a second. YOLO. Are you basically searching the book as well, or are you searching your own historical knowledge?
My own historical knowledge using my sage skill.
Okay.
In those cheap anime games.
Yeah, right. Nope, I totally get it. Yeah, so, okay, well, with an 18, that's going to give you a fairly decent result. So let me see how best to explain this based on what your character would know. The idea that diseases and curses are the same thing is endemic to the thinking of this world.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily mean it's true.
Oh. Okay.
So, you get mixed results from searching your personal knowledge, right? You know, as a person of Earth, that there are lots of things that can seem to be curses that are really things like contaminants in the water, or parasites, or whatever. Your resurrected character strongly suspects that this is actually some form of demonic corruption, because there are lots of cases in folklore of demon magic being transformative to living creatures. The dead body you were resurrected from believes that the curse was very likely, or A, believes strongly that it is a curse, and B, believes that it very likely is a curse brought to Galander because of the destruction of the old empire and the kingdom that was built out of its ashes by the knight general that usurped the emperor to take the throne.
Holy shit, guys. Somebody not just capture that? Should I just press the...
Alright, so, like, do you think the land could have been changed into, like, maybe some kind of mushroom form by the demons?
Absolver Rayfander kind of nods, but he doesn't seem like he's entirely convinced. He says, well, I've seen evidence of demon magic transforming things, but I've never seen it transform a whole region.
No,
typically,
this is why I think.
Can I hear this?
Could have transformed.
Yeah, you're all standing right next to each other.
Right. If a demon
What's my religion say
the
about
land,
this? Oh shit, nothing. My religion says nothing
if
about
a demon transformed the land, like, just a little bit, like, into a mushroom form, and then the mushroom did the rest of the work, that's like 101 magic work, right? Do as little work as possible, get the largest result.
I see. Interesting.
The pollen would spread and would corrupt more of the territory, slowly converting the entire thing to like a giant mushroom forest that is
Still a curse.
habitable to the demons, but not to us.
Yeah, still a curse, but the source of the curse, as you were saying, doesn't nearly do as much work as maybe, let's say, the pustules do. Maybe it's just a reoccurring pustule in a sense.
Right.
It could even be somebody trapped down there, not even knowing that they're doing this. They could just be a person could be cursed to spew out the base fungus.
So sad. I'm so sad that that's where I wasted my one.
Yeah, so Rayfander is like kind of nodding along as you guys are saying this. He says, I could imagine such a thing is possible. You could perhaps literally corrupt a mushroom and plant it? If so, though, that
sit on something that would constantly feed the mushroom.
Right. No, he nods at that, and he says that there would have to be something that would be keeping the curse going. These things are generally driven by magic, which is why I was so leery of the idea that a demon could transform an entire region. The power required would be, well, pardon the pun, monstrous.
Speaking of monsters,
they always say that. Dungeons? They always say that.
Where what most people would consider monsters, like goblins, hobgoblins, minotaurs.
Oh, rabbit people!
I want to kill me a goblin.
Are there
zombies?
Places...
I say, gesturing.
I'm not a fucking zombie.
Demon people. We're all fucking monsters, kids.
I'm just facepalming over here.
We all wanted to be fucking cool characters for this fucking game. Oh yeah, let's all make fucking cool ass characters. I say, rabbit guy.
Just to let you
nobody's
know,
a giant elephant.
Just to let you know, and don't let this one knock you down. We see ourselves as our original selves.
I know.
And as our new selves.
Yeah,
I'm telling this to the
projected. Dude. Oh, okay. I'm like, no, it's projected. It's just that I know it's projected now. So it's like, oh, fuck, here we go.
Yeah, when you say that, Rafander looks at you like, these are not your...
Not our
original forms.
Nope. Where we come from, it's all
nose
humans.
twitches.
Only humans, you say?
I mean, there's other animals and stuff, but they're not intelligent. We don't have...
We don't got walkie-talkie rabbits where I grew up.
The most monstrous things we have are probably our politicians and our wealthy.
You're funny.
Yeah, Rafander is what's the word I'm looking for? A little skeptical of that. He says it's hard to imagine one species with an entire world. What do you do with it?
Well, we somehow found a way to factionalize each other based on how we look at or how we look. So
yeah,
I that part never went away. We still have that.
There's also religion. Most religions don't get along with each other.
Depends on the religion, I think.
It can be that way here.
I mean, after all, you know, when I pick up the beads around my neck and go, we're all like, this is all one world, right? It's all one reflection.
Anyways,
and then laugh.
As I was asking, are there actual, like, dungeons that you could delve into that will possibly have chests that will spawn inside of them with loot, monsters that will spawn that you could kill to get additional
holy
items?
Shit, dude, are you wow-heading? Are you wow-heading this world?
I apologize. When he means spawning, he means are there places where there are creatures that are protecting potentially treasures and relics that might be used. Don't worry about that spawn word. I don't think things are just going to appear magically in front of us.
I see.
Oh, it's also a boy goblin, a girl goblin. They get together. They do the nasty when you have baby goblins.
That's not the spawning you were talking about.
I was using spawning in a very broad sense. Okay,
right at the abstract.
I'm gonna look at YOLO and kind of like shrug. Like, are they really like
Rafander kind of shakes his head and he says, "Well, there are no dungeons. I mean, there's Marsden.
Every Friday, you can go to the cave on the hill, and within there will be one magical treasure."
Let me even preface it a little better. When we use the word dungeon, we actually mean any sort of ruins or caves
reliable spot to go loot stuff from.
A location, a point of interest in the world that may or may not have been explored or have things of value.
Right. Well, as you can imagine, our continent being torn into multiple pieces has left quite a bit of the world in ruin. And much of it is well, inhospitable. So there are ruins which may or may not still contain the treasures of those places from before the Devil's Maw opened.
There was this place this one demon came and occupied, and he killed everyone there and destroyed everything. And now maybe he still lives there, and there might still be some great stuff there. But there's
the
also
reason why I was asking about this is the fungus needs a source of food. And I was wondering if there was something there that could possibly be generating the food for the fungus that's slowly corrupting the land.
Oh, is the
there are no ruins that I know of in this region. The histories don't say much about the area. It's I mean, even before the Devil's Maw yawned, it was pretty much a backwater known mostly for the quality of its woods. However, he thinks about it for a while and he says that there were I mean, he sort of sighs. He says, "No, there really isn't anything like that at all. I think there might have been a couple of noble estates here in the past. But I mean, nothing like you described."
When you say noble estate, like, are we talking like a minor noble, or are we talking someone that would possibly have a network of tunnels in case they have to escape from assassins and the like?
Before the Emperor of Galander decided to use the forest as a source of lumber for his fleets, it was actually a game preserve. If there are any noble manors or the like here, they were more than likely to be small hunting lodges. There really wasn't much else, there really wasn't another reason you'd want to be out here.
Aha! I already have it. And he slaps his fist into his hand because he's been thinking, and he's like, "There's motive in everything." One of the nobles got irritated that their hunting preserve was then used as a imperial grounds, and they probably didn't get any real kickback for it. And so they turned over to the dark side and cursed the entire lands with mushrooms. We should investigate.
Well, it says Rafander, fancifulness of that theory aside, I do believe that the first step towards resolving the problem of the blight is to investigate that pustule that you found.
Pustule. So
Likely
gross.
so.
If it is the source of this curse, perhaps together we can find some way to deal with it.
Yeah, I'm not too keen though on throwing fire on it or poking it really hard with a stick, because as I said, I'm afraid that it'll actually burst and release a copious amount of the spores.
That's my issue. Is like, are
Me
we
too.
lancing? Are we lancing a
I'm much
pustule?
more.
So
I'm
then-
much more inclined in raiding the houses of noblemen than popping giant pimples.
I
Yeah,
mean, if we can
exactly.
get a bucket of holy water to kind of splash real high and far on it, that might.
I don't know,
start
cover
like
it
I
a-
don't
like
think
2 feet
the
of
holy water's actually
dirt
going to
or
do anything.
something. I
We
don't
need
know.
an ocean of
Right.
it.
antiseptic
For what it's-
sort of
I mean,
effect.
Right. For what it's worth, Verde has spotted probably like 50 gallons of holy water just on the first floor.
This guy was prepping for
Yeah,
war.
I
He's a
washed my
prepper.
face with
Like,
it.
literally, we're standing in the middle of his warhouse. He didn't want to show us this because it's prepping. Anyways.
I
Because
mean,
he's prepping.
you're not wrong.
Funny though.
I mean, as a free insight, it occurs to you that he's probably, until you guys showed up, probably thought he was presiding over the death of this place. Like,
Right.
duty bound to fix a problem he has no fucking way to fix. you
Right,
know?
but then much like a 1980s film, there was a flash of light and 5 fucking stumbling nerds in various costumes.
Right.
Like, we
But
have
here
to
I'm
look like
dead.
LARPers. Right, we have to look like LARPers because we're still
Well, right.
like,
So, like, consider your postures are probably all wrong. Like, you
Right.
don't know any of the local body language.
that's what I'm saying is I'm actually trying to play the part of me falling into my well fuck, I guess I'm this character, right?
Right. But what does that even mean?
Right, here we are. You guys.
Well, you don't even have anything to work with from your character because your character doesn't actually have anything to work with.
Except
Snipes
your
meant-
twitches.
You mean because I'm a paladin because that was the closest thing to monk I could pull off with the kind
No,
of
I'm talking about like your actual character doesn't have like any history. The only person
Right.
who actually has memory of their character is YOLO, but that's because of extenuating
Right.
circumstances.
Yep,
The rest of
right.
us have nothing to pull from.
Right.
Well,
you
no, that's
have
because,
what
the
appears
rest
to
of
be
us
your
were-
system access instead. you know?
exactly.
Right.
Yeah, the rest of us have the character sheet we rolled at home.
Anyways,
Well, I mean, at least there's a forest somewhere where where my people come from. I don't know where, but I wrote it in, so damn it, there's got to be somewhere.
right.
Right?
Question.
Hold on.
You okay?
What world was that in?
Oh shit! Yeah,
Because
we're
you
in
guys
this-
were told you were adventuring in Faerun, and this is not Faerun.
Yeah, we were going to be in the fucking Forgotten Realms, and we're not. We're in a Forgotten World.
I think
Yeah.
I actually left it vague
Dave,
and
we'll
didn't
talk.
say the exact name of the forest.
I don't know that plays.
Because that doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't apply here, because I didn't name the world and the forest.
That's awesome that was a deep speech.
That was a what?
It was in deep speak.
Oh, nice.
If you could,
I think maybe your forest, you remember it by one name, but no one else does. It's a whole different name for them. It's whatever name it is in this world.
Well, there'd be a bunch of people who look like me in it, so.
Yeah, I'm a rabbit, dude.
Yeah, this isn't the world of Faroon. This is the world of Fair enough.
Fair enough. Exactly. Love it. And again, I think it's hilarious that my character
could you
gets
on
to
the
be
map
like,
mark the hunting lodges? So while we're investigating,
Oh, he doesn't know where they are exactly. He's saying they could potentially exist.
okay, where they've been, and they would have just been minor hunting lodges, not major possible. Since
Right.
it was
Like it's a literal backwater. It's known for nothing but the quality of the wood here.
Oh, jeez.
I feel like maybe my character in real life, the person who I am in real life, before I died and got hit by the truck, might have been a jock. And now these are rabbits.
Dude,
like, what?
That's where the
you are
pustule is.
you.
Oh, it's
Okay,
just me? Oh, in that case, fine. We'll keep playing it just like this. Because in that case, I've been playing D&D since I was 7. So, all right. Rabbit I am. I'm going to lean in.
Okay.
Ear twitch. Nose scratch, scratch.
So they're...
Deciding to play your character is an affectation, is what he's saying.
No, I know, but I believe that. I think that's... Yeah. I
Trying
think that's where I would go.
I'm trying to find a needle in a haystack. And I don't have a magnet. There has to be something here.
Well, we didn't see them on the way.
Right. And you didn't search every hex of that forest, but you did get an eye line on every hex in that forest. The only thing that really stood out was the pustule in that little lake.
What do you know of the lake? Because I don't remember seeing a river feeding it.
He nods. He says, "Yeah, there is a spring under the lake.
Oh.
Not a particularly strong one. The level of that lake hasn't changed in the entire time that I've been here, as far as I know. But it was originally, I mean, honestly, if there are going to be ruins, they'll probably be somewhere around that lake, because it was originally the only other source of fresh water in the region besides, well digging or the stream."
Well,
Are there any records of a flood?
Not that I'm aware of. The ground here is very porous. So floods you would think would be common now that you've mentioned it, but I don't actually think that there's ever been a record of a flood here.
Almost like there's a massive cave network that could drain the water off.
Draining all the water off, right?
Oh, what I would love to do with a survey team and find out the water table for this place.
That sounds like witchcraft.
Hydraulic engineering, actually, but
Little difference by most people's standards, anyways.
Right.
Clearly Watts is an engineering major in hydraulics engineering major in college. I'm probably into narrative.
Just watches a lot of the Science Channel, right?
Yeah.
No, actually, cartography.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that again. It goes back to my major of things I like to study. Anyways, I say let's. Okay, is there anything here in town immediately that you need us to take care of?
He sort of gestures what's the word I'm looking for? Resignedly. And he says, well, there's so little town left that it pretty much takes care of itself. Counting myself among them, I don't believe that there are more than 30 or 40 of us. I guess Brent's wife had a child. So yeah, maybe 40 total.
Okay.
We get by.
Is the only food source the stuff you're growing, or do hunting teams go
Trade
kind of
groups.
further
No, we grow our food. I supplement that with minor blessings from the goddess. I can extend the value, I guess, of foods.
I see.
And when necessary, I can even create it. Though that comes at great personal
He's got
cost.
great food and water, you guys. He's got great food and water. I understand that.
Interesting.
Sadly, I don't have it.
Uh,
I know what it is.
You wouldn't have it yet anyway. I think level 2 or 3.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. Yeah, I don't
yeah,
have
you
it,
won't-
but I
you
do
won't
know
get
what
for
it
a while.
is.
Yeah, as a paladin, you will eventually get the option to take that spell if you want it, though.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Which you have
Just
two
playing out.
foodies in
Just
the
playing
group,
out
so
that
you don't really
I
need
was
it.
a D&D nerd that got hit by
yeah.
a truck.
That's the irony of it.
Every now and then, I'm still me.
So outside of like me making some good berries, there would be much I could do to help.
You guys
Right.
look over
I mean,
rabbit goes, oh shit.
if you're offering your services, I mean, there are always people who are under the weather or fatigued from the effort of keeping us all alive. That the healing ritual is, I can only cast it so many times a day. But I feel like that's not why you were sent here.
Right. No, I was just trying to do what I can to aid in general because, well, the will of the goddess is the will of the goddess.
Yeah.
I guess cynically, I'm like, so is there a troll nearby?
Yeah, no, I think investigating the area near the pustule or otherwise investigating for housing near the lake are the two things that we would want to consider doing.
And do we want to do that now, or do we want to? Because you said
Well, we
it's
probably want to
noon,
sleep,
isn't it?
we want to probably take a rest.
You guys got there in the evening. It's getting kind of late at this point.
Yeah, we
Okay.
need to rest. Obviously,
So
before we go do some
rest
adventures
tonight,
and shit.
and first thing tomorrow, head towards the lake to look for ruins as well as caves. Since the lake is there, possibly it's low enough that there could be a cave entrance.
That's way less gross than go lance some pustule.
Oh, we'll just have it be going in from the bottom and popping it that way. It'll drain down into the caverns.
Ow. Bleh, bleh, bleh.
I mean, you're not wrong though.
No, I know. You say that.
Unless there's like some magic that
Rabbit
we find a
throws
way to
up into
magically
trash can.
purify everything into thin air. My purify doesn't work that well. Actually,
I mean, if we
it's a
sever all the
mushroom-
blood vessels, then it'll just dry and crust up.
Actually, if it's a mushroom, could I consider that technically food and then purify it?
Gross.
Maybe.
That is so nasty.
Because you can eat mushrooms.
Gross.
I'm trying to make it where it's purified and it doesn't kill you, sir. And you don't have to deal with something popping and pouring everywhere.
Oh! Oh! Make me scratch.
Like runny eggs, except it's coming out of a flesh sack.
Yeah, pretty much.
God damn, why do you say that?
At least it's not an ingrown hair.
Stop it!
Fucking chunky mayonnaise.
Ew! Ew!
You guys
Okay.
are fucking hilarious.
Yo, make me scratch. Fuck up.
Gotta squeeze that cottage cheese.
Stop it!
Too many
I
fish
got no liquor in
eggs.
this room. Oh my god! I need to cleanse my brain.
Melt that caviar.
Okay, so
We're
let's
done.
crash out now. I'm actually going to make us some good berries so we don't text.
Oh yeah, no,
This is-
I would definitely make, if we're about to go into a long rest.
Good
I'll
berry
make
looks like
I
virgin
don't
caviar.
all the good berries.
Remember, they're only good for 24 hours.
Yeah, and so we can make a bunch of them, long rest. Some can be for the villagers. Some we keep for our own healing, and we have our spell slots back for the next 24 hours.
Yep, I can.
When I get my rest, so I get my.
I'll be able to
spell
make
slots
20. You should be able to make 20.
That's correct. And so we can bring some with us and leave some here.
back. Does this game even have a
bring all of them for 40 points worth of, healing without using our spell slots.
long rest button?
We haven't. We don't get.
Yeah, I can do that for you guys.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Does and I'll ask
Because
Alice
they
again.
heal 1 HP, so if we've got 40 of them, then we can,
That's healing 40 HP.
That's pretty useful for,
That's a lot of
considering
berries.
that's like all of our HP combined.
That's a lot of berries.
Yeah, we're
That's
gonna need
a very good
berries.
idea, isn't it?
Oh my god.
Yeah. I mean, any time we come into a long rest with extra spell slots, making a pile of good berries seems like a good policy. Don't burn them all, obviously, in case we got to fight in the middle of the night. But berries
Welcome
good.
to Goodberry, home of the Goodberry.
Yeah, pretty much.
I can't digest it.
Oh shit!
It's fine. You'll
I think it still works. I think the magic still happens.
Yeah, it's still good
It's
berries.
symbolic. It's a ritual.
Yeah, good berries are
No,
magical. They're
it's
not.
not a ritual. In Redshift, it's a ritual, but in this one, it's cast as per normal.
Really?
That's not what I meant.
No, he meant the magic of the good berry. He's saying, how does the good berry heal himself?
Delightful program. It shows me signed in right there. You took you with the. Sorry,
What?
I clicked the world anvil thingy. That I'm getting Lulu multipass, sir.
Gotcha. That's no big deal. It was just my wiki page for Poe. I just figured I'd share it since you guys were here now.
Okay. Anywho, yeah. We'll do the sleepy sleep thing.
I'm gonna skulk around the village at night.
Please don't.
Skulk around the village at night. Skulk around the village at night.
Work on your meditation skills, sir. If you want to level something, level your meditation so you can get your spell slots back quicker.
I was gonna say I'm gonna totally rest just to make sure that I
sneaking.
I get anything I did accidentally back. Like anything I did, I want back. And I did do a sniff. I did do a.
That's true.
So I want to get that back.
I just wanted to investigate the rest of the town and the sewer systems at night.
We have time. Sir? We have time. My kid.
No, I was just clicking the wrong button.
Navigating by the stars at night. Navigating by the stars at night. I'm a no. Of course, because you're not alive.
Okay, you want to look around the town at night while everybody else goes to bed?
Yeah. Maybe if there's a safe, reliable way to get in and out, check out the sewers or the plumbing or the water.
Yeah, you didn't notice any sewer access outside of the chapel. I mean, there must be somewhere, just you didn't notice them. So that will probably take an investigation check to find more. That said, you did see that both entrance ways into the chapel, both the western entrance and the southern entrance, are have very conspicuous grates in them, as if they were deliberately placed to allow access to that network.
But there's no ladder or anything, right?
That is correct.
It's fucking oubliette style bullshit. What's going on here? I'm investigating around the town. Skull weirdo.
Yeah, investigating around the town. Most of the the buildings in the inner circle are very clearly set up as homes or bunkhouses. And they're all pretty quiet as darkness has fallen, people have gone to sleep. There are a couple of grates pretty much identical to the ones in the church along the sort of like paved cobblestone area at major intersections. As a modern man, you realize their drainage plan is pretty shit. But at least they have one.
Right. Do any of these seem like easier or more luxurious access?
No, they're pretty much exactly the same. Like literally the same dimension grates in the whole thing.
All right then.
In an MMO, they would be the same asset.
Just finalizing my investigation around the town, not knowing whether or not I sucked in reality. I'm gonna do one last look over to see how conspicuous the town looks. Is it at rest, or is it fairly still quiet? Everything's okay. No.
Yeah, no, it's still quiet. I mean, there's smoke from a couple of chimneys. It's pretty quiet. In fact, it's quiet enough that you can actually hear the burbling of the stream, and the occasional you imagine is probably the water wheel of the mill, but the occasional creak of wood, off in the the distance, sort of the east from the chapel. But yeah, it's pretty much quiet. Like still, even here where there's a little bit of green, not a lot of evidence of insects, no howling of creatures in the night. It's pretty fucking still.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to go back into the church to good old it was Adolphus, right? Yeah. And I'm going to tie about his feet in a good loop, some rope, which will let me down into the grate if the grate can even open up.
Yeah, okay. You want to make an athletics check to lift the grate?
Yeah.
Are you going to try to be quiet?
I'm gonna try to lift the grate.
Right. Are you going to try to do that quietly?
No.
Okay.
Why?
So you're gonna have Dallas wake up out of a sound sleep to the rattling of a grate?
I mean, I'm not gonna be trying to be loud.
If you're not trying to be quiet, you will be loud.
I'll pick up a grate and be that loud about it.
Yeah. Well, it's all right. That's good enough. It doesn't seem like anybody wakes up. At least the grate doesn't move easily, so there is a lot of scraping of metal against stone. In the first 15 seconds of lifting it, but eventually you do prise it out, and its hinges are actually pretty well oiled. They don't squeal, so you manage to muscle the grate open without too much noise.
What I thought might be a super keen and clean effort that turned out to be a little bit louder than just that.
Exactly.
All right. And making sure that my knot work was okay around Sir Adolphus, I'm going to give him a nod and say, I trust in you, sir. And make my descent with my good old hemp rope.
All right. Yeah, you find yourself in a tunnel. Seems to be roughly round. Like the floor is kind of flat. Like there's it's not a full circle. It's more like a flat ground that has been dimpled in a runnel that runs down the middle. But the walls of the tunnel and the ceiling are absolutely like a semicircular arch. And it's all like brickwork, but it's made of that same black and white granite that the floor in the secret room was made of. You guess that's probably one of the native stones in the region, given how much of it you're looking at. Like, if you had to guess, they probably hewed out a tunnel and then used the rock they hewed out to make the flagstones that they lined the tunnel with afterwards.
That's neat.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, there is a runnel of like what would normally be really crappy water, but is in fact mostly clean water with crap in it.
The crap purified though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Purified crap.
Right. Yeah, so harmless. But yeah, the tunnel seems to run basically northwest to northeast, probably about 20 yards in either direction, before turning. The tunnel to the southeast looks like it turns to your left if you're facing that direction, so towards the northeast. The other tunnel seems to go the opposite direction, so towards the southwest.
Which way is the wind flowing?
It seems to be flowing towards the bend of the tunnel that turns northeast.
I'm gonna follow that.
Okay, so you come around a bend in the tunnel. The tunnel proceeds basically straight. You're guessing northeast based on what you knew about the layout before going in. And then seems to terminate in a straight wall about maybe 150 yards down. Where the runnel in the center of the floor meets the wall is a grate that's approximately 2 feet high and like 3 feet wide, with large metal bars sort of acting as a gross pollutant trap. There doesn't seem to be any like door or anything. However, the closer you get to the grate, the louder the sound of rushing water becomes. So by the time that you are standing next to the grate, your guess is you're like standing on rapids or a waterfall or something. Like there is a lot of water moving really fast on the other side of that grate.
Damn. But what am I gonna roll for that thing I want to do? Does it seem like the natural spring that might be running under this town or river?
Maybe. It's kind of hard. Like the sound is, it's not deafening. Like it's not, it's not standing at Niagara Falls loud, but it's pretty loud. It's like, standing next to the fast water slide at a water park loud. But like, it's kind of hard to tell whether that's immediately on the other side of the wall or some feet down or some feet further past the grate. Like, if you bent down and looked, you might get a better sense of what's on the other side there. But just by listening to the sound, it's really kind of hard to determine what you're listening to.
Yeah, I'll go investigate the thing a little bit more. What's up with that grate?
All right. If you look through the grate, you see almost nothing. Do you have a light source?
I have dark vision.
Okay, that's what I thought. But no, you're not actually carrying a light source.
Nah, I'm just skulking around in the dark like a weirdo.
Okay. From where you're at, you can see that the water seems to go forward another like 4 or 5 feet and then stops. Based on the sound, you're going to guess that there is some sort of drop there. And that coincides with what you see in the rest of the room, because the rest of the room seems to be perfectly pitch black, which would only be true if the whatever is on the other side of that wall extended beyond the range of your dark vision in all directions.
Sketchy. Okay. Don't want to be over there. Glad this grate is here to keep me from, yeah. Well, I don't think anything could get in from here, like, really, right?
Yeah, I mean the wall seems intact, and the water, the flow is in the direction is out. This is an outfall to use modern terms.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's probably pretty safe.
Okay. I guess then I will check the intake before calling it a night.
Yeah, okay. So the other direction is a little bit more complicated. As you turn the corner, you hit a 4-way intersection. And you realize that you're probably standing in the pipes, calling them pipes is weird, tunnels, I guess. But you're standing in the system that is connected to the grates that you saw at the intersections of the main streets. And it seems to be like a looping circuit that seems to be relatively closed. However, as you continue through the network and make your way towards what would be the northeasternmost edge of the city, you do find something interesting. You find another one of those grates. However, this particular grate seems to be an infall in that a trickle of water seems to be coming through that grate. That water that comes through is clear, clean. You can't really tell anything else just by looking at it. It is not full of any kind of pollutants that are visible, however.
Does it smell bad?
Right. Does it stink?
It smells
No, it smells musty. You know what I mean? Like maybe mildewy. But it's not full-blown rotten.
Okay.
But it's not purified water. That's obvious.
yeah, and I don't really suspect I see anything else really interesting around here.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be any markings on the stone or anything like that. The whole system, though, is actually relatively clean. Even in this area where it's obvious purification magic doesn't hold sway, it's still relatively clean. In fact, make an insight check for me really quick.
Hold on 1 second. Bonk. Inside.
Yeah.
Hold on, I got this. I got this. Wow. How about that? Yeah, how about that? Okay,
Aren't
maybe
you
not.
sleeping right now?
Yeah, I don't think you went with Verde, did you?
Oh, I thought I did. Never mind.
In any event, yeah, Verde, the most obvious potential reason for that would be that this influx of water kind of acts to flush the system. Maybe.
Yeah. It seems like a little trickle, though. Is there any way I could make it bigger?
Well, there doesn't seem to be anything blocking the grate on this side. Looking through it, you see, natural rock. But it doesn't seem like a very big it doesn't look like a hell of a lot of water ever flowed through here.
Flew.
All right. Do I see any signs of anybody else besides me in here?
No.
All right. I guess I'm going back the way I came then.
All right. In that case, I think, unless anybody else has any other business, we will call that an end of the session.
Sounds good. Did we get as far as you intended, or are we still at
Right? Are we behind?
No, actually, you guys got a little bit further than I expected as far as information goes. You've learned more than I think that than I expected you would in the first episode. That said, you didn't actually go where I expected you to either, which was fun.
Yeah, that's dope. Are we falling into character correctly?
I mean, I think that you guys are playing yourselves pretty well.
Yeah, okay. It was a revelation to me that, wait a minute, I should play myself carrying my character going, wait, this is who I am here.
That's right.
Right.
So anyway.
Okay, so Art, so this is the end of the session. So do XP?
Oh, look at you.
Hold on a second. Let me do some quick napkin math.
Juice. Says what?
I'm sorry. I'm in an alien world. I am weak AF. I need my power boost. Give me the XP.
Juice. I'm a rabbit man. What the hell?
Okay, Carrot Top, relax. You'll be fine.
Whoa. Whoa.
I'm not the one that gave myself red hair on the top of my head. Actually, I am.
No, I'm blondie. I'm a super blondie. Look at my character. No, I'm very blonde.
It's okay. I'm dead inside.
Actually,
You have
no,
to imagine.
you're
You have
dead
to imagine.
outside. Get it right.
Yeah, you have to imagine Sisyphus happy.
There you go.
Oh, look, the DM can just do it in Fantasy Grounds.
Indeed.
How is this not like infinitely better than Roll20?
No, it actually is. See, that's the rub.
That's
why we walk over here quite a bit more.
Okay, here
It
comes the
doesn't tell me
credits.
when my next level is, though.
I love you. I mean it.
Next level is 300 XP, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got, yeah, that should have put you basically 2/3 of the way there.
Yep.
Yes.
I have level up available.
Yeah.
How much XP does it say you have?
200.
Yeah,
Okay.
200.
Yeah, no, 300 is when the next level comes.
But it does give us the available level up, which is weird.
I bet you that's because it just doesn't know by default what the 5e level table is, which is actually kind of an oversight now that I've thought about it. It really ought to just know that.
Why we use you?
But this is a custom campaign, so you could have custom levels built in for the campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
But there's kind of a standard.
But
Anyway.
it uses all the same modules.
Oh no, it says the next level is 300 XP, or did you put that in yourself, Watts?
I typed it myself when you told me.
Damn it.
You gave me information, man. I'm going to type that in.
No, it's good. It's good. It's good to keep track of that. I was just like, oh no, it's right there. That's funny. Oh well. Yeah, it's weird that the level up button is there just anyway. Maybe that's just because as a DM, I guess I could go, hey, you just gained a level, you know?
Right? I guess.
I mean, that'd be a completely different way of running the campaign.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's more like actually the sort of shit I used to do when I was younger.
Yeah, when I would do things like milestone based, it would be kind of that way, you know? Hey, you guys just defeated the Lich King. Why don't you all get yourself 2 levels? You know?
Yeah, now you're level X. Exactly.